Coosa Steel is a family-owned full-line steel service center located in Rome, Georgia. Since 1972, we've been working to make our customers more efficient by providing steel product supply and processing all in one place. We are proud to provide a large range of products, including hot-rolled and cold-finished steel, stainless steel, galvanized steel, aluminum, and alloys. Our capabilities enable us to assemble and process steel orders within days, shortening your lead time. Coosa Steel. Steel for your project.
Shop for your next car, truck, or SUV at Riverside Auto Group. Check out riversideautogroup.com today to browse their selection or visit with them in person at Riverside Chevrolet GMC in Rome, Riverside Toyota in Rome, and the all-new Riverside GMC Cadillac in Cartersville. Locally owned and operated by the Welburn family since 1974. That's Riverside Auto Group. Visit riversideautogroup.com.
At Rome Orthopedic Center, we salute students, freshmen and seniors, athletes and artists, first stringers and choral singers, band majors and game changers. We hope you never need orthopedic care, but if you do, choose the only practice in the Rome area solely dedicated to the orthopedic needs of the students and families in our community. Rome Orthopedic Center. To make an appointment, call 706-292-0040.
The deadline for 2026 to 2027 priority application and financial aid is February 15th. Schedule your private campus tour at www.darlingtonschool.org/visit or by emailing admission@darlingtonschool.org.
Mark your calendar for Alumni Weekend on October 24th through October 26th. For information on hotel blocks and reunions for classes ending in 0 and 5, visit our website at www.darlingtonschool.org/alumni weekend. We hope to see you there.
It's time for the Coach Groves Show, where we sit down with the head coach of the Darlington Tigers football team and talk about all things Darlington School football. Now we go live to Matt Davis and Ian Griffin, who are standing by with Coach Wayne Groves.
And yes, we are standing by, or sitting by, as we say, with Coach Groves as we get ready for the Game 6 edition of the program. And we're super excited to have Coach Groves with us today so we can talk about some Darlington Tigers football. So first of all, Coach, how are you doing today, sir?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We're just finished practice number 3 this week, and the weather held off for us, so that was a good thing. So we feel good about, tomorrow morning and doing our last little run through and be ready for the game on Friday. So it's been a good week.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to go ahead and dive into our questions for this week, Coach, and we're going to start with a few questions about last week's game. Of course, you opened up region play against Haralson County at home. Wasn't the result you were looking for, but regardless of the result, always going to be some positive things as well as things that you look at on film that you have to work on, those sorts of things. So let's start with the positive things and the things that you felt like the team did really well last week.
Well, one, Haralson County is a really good football team, and they're huge up front. I'd say they probably averaged right around 300 pounds up front. And we knew that was going to be a tough task for us, but it was this one we were ready for the challenge. Our kids fought. They played hard, didn't always play well. In those ball games, we try to tell them that, that's when you play a team that's bigger or maybe a little bit better than you, that's when your technique, your fundamentals, and your skills become the most important. And unfortunately, sometimes teenagers have to learn things the hard way. Sometimes they think that's a suggestion, but we work through that. So it's a learning curve. But we fought hard. We didn't quit, and then we learned some valuable lessons there, and we came out injury free. So some lessons were learned, some lessons were taught, and then we're ready for this week and ready to turn the page and move on.
Well, Coach, I want to take the opportunity with this next question, talk about last week's Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game. It was Bo Powers, and he made a couple of plays, but the one that stood out the most to me in the first half, ball hits the ground, and the Haralson County defender, he had it secure, and Bo popped in there and just stripped it back. It was a hustle play, prevented a turnover on what looked like was going to be an opening scoring drive. Later in the game, he was also able to recover another ball that hit the turf. Had some good runs. To me, that just embodies everything that you have instilled in your football team. Playing scrappy, and it was an impact play, and he got the player of the game. So talk about the grit that he put out there on the field.
Well, I'm a huge Bo Powers fan. I call him Bodie Bo. But no, Bo, he does a great job. He's an extremely hard worker. He's a throwback kid. He's came through a lot of adversity that people don't know about, and I think it's just made him a tougher kid, made him a better player. After his freshman year, he had a little fracture in his leg that took him out for a little while. He worked hard, rehabbed that back. He got his bench press up to about 260 pounds. And then, the off season, he had his finger at the end of the regular season last year. He tore a ligament in his finger. So he had to rehab that, was able to get his leg strength back up to his squats over 315 pounds. And then he had to rehab his finger. And then he's got had a shoulder issue earlier in the year, and he just works through it. He keeps rehabbing. He's very resilient. And he's a vital member of our football team. Obviously people see him running the ball and scoring touchdowns, but what he brings is some physicality in the run game. He's a very good blocker. And, I always tell him, one blocker's worth two ball carriers, so, a kid that commits to that and just doing anything he can to help the team win, he's a valuable member of our football team.
All right, Coach, this is the Coach Grove Show. We got a couple more questions left here of our opening segment, so we'll jump into the next one. But we talked about some of the positive that happened last week, but let's talk about some of the areas when you guys looked on film, studied the game film from last week, getting ready for this next game, that you felt like you guys needed to work on after last week's game.
Yeah. We'll just continue to work on us, working on getting 1% better each day, doing it with more intensity, more physicality, playing faster, playing lower, seeing, how good we can take it. Offense, defense, special teams, we're not going to, change our plan because we lost a football game. We're going to stick with the course. We're going to stick with our plan and our fundamentals of getting the kids better and just keep improving. This is a marathon season. It's not a sprint. And so we want to be playing our best football. And, once week 9, week 10, the playoffs start. That's just been the plan of action.
Excellent, Coach. Well, this year's group has faced just about every type of adversity that you can throw at them through the halfway point of a season, but they have exemplified that next play, next man up, next game mentality that you have to have over the course of such a tough schedule. So with that said, what has the tone of practice been like this week?
It's been really good. The first thing that I worry about all weekend, just come back in is what is our mental state going to be? And that's the first thing I'm going to address with them. So, for me, and I think mostly for the kids too, on Friday night, you get pissed. You get pissed that, you lost the ball game, and then Saturday you kind of get down a little bit, but then about Saturday afternoon, you get yourself going again. You look in the mirror and you go back to work. So for the kids, when they came in on Monday, they were ready. I didn't have to give them a rah-rah speech or anything like that. I could see it in their eyes that they were ready to get the bad taste out of their mouth and let's move on and let's get ready for Pepperell. And so that's what they've done. They've had a workman type mentality this week. It's been physical practices, and I feel like that they'll be ready to perform on Friday.
And I think I know the answer to this little aside of that question. Some coaches, it's a rivalry game, no question about it. Some coaches treat those a little bit different. I don't get the feeling that you do.
Well, we're going to respect every one of our opponents,
Yeah.
and we're going to prepare for them the same way. Does this have a little more implications? Yeah, sure it does. When you go back home and, you want to go and make sure your team's ready to play and give a good showing. So I feel like our team's ready, and I feel like that they'll play hard, and we'll see what the result will be. But if they play hard, I'm going to be happy, to be their leader and to be their coach. And, if we do what we're supposed to do, we can win this game.
This is the Coach Grove Show, everybody. We've got a lot to come. In our final segment of the show, we're going to talk all about the next opponent and the game at Pepperell. But in our next segment, the middle segment of the show, we've got some fun stuff. We're going to talk about the black shirts, which is always, I think, a fan favorite. We always enjoy hearing about that and the hard work the kids are putting in to this football team. Then we're going to bring back, after about a half-season hiatus, back by popular demand, the Getting to Know Coach Grove's question of the week makes its triumphant return. And there's a little Easter egg, so to speak. I know it's fall stuff on the table here, but it's related to our questions. We'll throw a reference in there. I don't know if you can pick it out. It's kind of small right there in front of the Darlington Tigers helmet. More on that in a little bit. So we've got that coming up and more. So we're excited to be here and hanging out with Coach Groves. We're going to take a break, and we're glad you're with us. So we'll return in just moments.
Are you shopping for a new car, truck, or SUV? Riverside Auto Group has a location to meet your needs. Browse their selection online at riversideautogroup.com or visit with them in person at Riverside Chevrolet GMC in Rome, Riverside Toyota in Rome, Riverside Nissan in Rome, or Riverside GMC Cadillac in Cartersville. Locally owned and operated by the Welburn family since 1974. That's Riverside Auto Group.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Coach Grove Show. We're jumping into segment 2, and we always start this segment by talking about the black shirts, which is an honor if you're a Darlington Tiger football player. So, Coach, tell us about the guys who earned those honors this week.
This is going to be a rare one, but it is what it is, and this is what was voted upon. So on offense, I thought he blocked really well. I thought he made some plays in the passing game and caught some balls. So Trey Moore gets the offensive black shirt. Trey has just really come on. He's a junior cornerback, wide receiver, very athletic kid, but he's getting better each week. So Trey Moore gets the black shirt. On defense, finally in the second half, we had a corner that would come up and force the ball inside in cover 2, and that was Trey Moore. So his physicality of coming up and setting the edge and not letting the ball outside of him, like some of the other guys did. Trey Moore gets the defensive black shirt.
Are we going for a clean sweep here?
On special teams, he's getting better at punting the dang ball.
Yeah, it's
and
great
had some really great kicks. Kicked it away from the returners where they really couldn't get a return on it, and flipped the field a couple of different times. So special teams, Trey Moore is wearing the special teams black shirt. So he's been wearing 3 black shirts all week.
That's awesome.
On simulation offense, this is 2 of my new guys, but he's in there running simulation tight end all last week, and he's doing a really good job, and he just keeps getting better and better. And hopefully he's going to break into that starting lineup pretty soon. Me and him have been talking about it, and he's just got to take ownership, and he can definitely come and do that. But that's my freshman tight end, defensive end, Mitchell Ralton. And he's number 35, but he's really done a good job. He's starting to really kind of get a feeling of the offense. And so once it gets a little more comfortable, he's going to be out there contributing even more. And then on simulation defense, this is a kid, it's Mitchell's brother, Maddox Ralton. All right, so Maddox is a junior. All right, we're working on his hardship right now, but he is not allowed to play varsity competition, but he is allowed to practice. And so he's out there on simulation O, he's out there on simulation D. He's given a great look. He's had a great attitude, even though he can't go out there and play. And I think that's just shows what kind of young man he is, just a great kid that's out there just to help the team. And so, and this is probably long overdue, but Maddox Rawton gets the simulation D black shirt.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Well, jumping into our next question, and this one requires, I think, a little bit of background, but Ian and I have the pleasure each and every Thursday morning on the morning show that we do on WLAQ to talk to Georgia Bulldog legend Lauren Smith, who is a sideline reporter, of course, for Larry Muntz. And I know
turn the TV down and turn Larry up.
Yep,
and I mean, that's how you do it.
We absolutely love talking to him. He's a wealth of history, knowledge in terms of Georgia football and just about every other sports-related thing and that sort of thing. But the other day when we were talking to him, he started talking about the difference in technology in terms of how you watch film nowadays compared to the old days. And obviously, you don't go as far back as he does in terms of, as long as you've been a coach and that sort of thing, but you've been coaching for over a couple of decades. So I know that the way technology has shifted in everything we do, that you've seen just a massive shift in terms of when you started coaching and what it was like in the film room to where we are now. So we're just curious, based on him talking about that, what that experience has been like for you and your staff over the years as technologies move forward and that sort of thing, what it looks like versus what it was when you started.
Yeah, that's a great question. And really it has changed tremendously. So this is my 23rd year of coaching high school football. So when we first started 23 years ago, I was at Upson Lee High School. And so you still had VHS.
Splicing film?
You still had VCR. No, there was no splicing film. Yeah. So VHS, VCR. We still had to go to the Waffle House or McDonald's on Saturday morning and trade whoever drew the short straw that week. Usually the young coach, which was, the low man on the totem pole, would go and have to trade the film with the other coach. Usually there was no way to check the film. Sometimes you'd get good film. Sometimes you'd get blank tapes. Sometimes you may get, I don't know, The Land Before Time, just whatever, just what you got. And, but that was, and then you'd have to go back and you do everything by hand. You'd write down left hash, middle hash, right hash. You'd watch the formation, you'd write the play scheme, and then you'd go back and you'd compile all the data and, see, this is what they do the most. This is their top run plays, pass plays, formations, all that stuff. And then you'd come up with a game plan for that. Now it's just a little more streamlined. Now we have online film trade. So these young coaches, man, they're just spoiled. They don't have to do any of this stuff. So there's online film trade. So you don't have to, take 2 or 3 hours out of your Saturday to do that. You just film online. Now you get a preview of the film when they send it to you. That's what's pretty cool about it. You get a preview. You get about 3 or 4 clips you get to watch to make sure that the film's good. It is the team they say it is, and that and they have to confirm your film as well. So there's some checks and balances there to make sure that you get good film. So that's a plus. And the next thing is, there's a little more work on the front end as far as inputting data. So when you get a film, you're gonna put quarter, hash, down and distance, yard line, gain of the play, loss of the play, type of play, run, pass. You're going to put in formations. You're going to put in offensive play, whether it's, power or counter, strong or weak, that kind of thing. And then you can run your reports to get a picture of what the team you are playing. And you do the same thing for offense when you're scouting another team's defense. You're going to put in their defensive front. You're going to put in their coverages. You're going to put in their blitzes. You're going to put in the formations they do it against, then down and distances, all that. And then you're going to put all that data in. So once you get that data, the reports you can make are unlimited. Now we have certain things that we look for on offense, certain things on defense. Not going to tell you what we look for to do our game plan, but it is very valuable. So, for what would take maybe 7 or 8 hours, 23 years ago, that's something that could be done in 3 or 4 hours. So it cuts the workload of time definitely in half. So, it's definitely a valuable tool, and we use it for our scouting reports. We can share it with the kids online. We can make cut ups and playlists to share with the kids that they can view. And it's just come a long way. You know, in the past, only time we'd be able to watch film with the kids was where they were there. Now we can share it with the kids, and we can watch it with them in person, which we do a lot of too.
That's incredible, man. And as you're describing how the young coaches today, they don't know how tough it was back in those days, it makes me think about when I was at Jacksonville State and I was taking an audio production class. And we had a professor, and at that time we did have digital, editing technology and stuff like that. But he wanted us to know how hard it was back in the day. So what he would do is have like physical tape. We'd record something on it, and we'd have to take like a cutting block and actually edit the tape and splice it together and all that kind of stuff. And we picked up what he was trying to tell us for sure.
My internship at ESPN, I did exactly what you're talking about. I watched every play in a football or basketball game and would watch it from every angle and notate exactly what happened, what the angle was, so that they could run it on Sports Center and put their package, their highlight packages together. So, yeah, it's come a long way.
One of the unique things now too, and a lot of people don't know this about Huddle, the editing system, that just about every NFL team, every college team, every high school team has Huddle. It was invented by a group of GAs at the University of Nebraska, and they just made it for the University of Nebraska. And they're like, "Oh man, this is really great." And then they opened it up, and it's a multi-million-dollar company at this point. But one of the things that they have now is if you buy the Huddle top package, you get what's called Huddle Assist. And this is where the young coaches are even more spoiled. And I may get rid of the Huddle Assist just so they got to do a little extra work. I don't know. But on Huddle Assist, they'll go in and they'll do the down and distance for you already. They'll do the yard line. They'll do the gain, run, pass already. So that cuts out, that would be one coach's job, because we used to split it up. Each coach would have certain things that they would do. Like I would always break down the offensive play, the run concept, pass concept. And then we'd have a coach. Coach Collier does offensive formations, motion, shifts, trades, that kind of thing. And another coach would do down and distance, yard line, hash game. So in Huddle Assist, I'm thinking you send it in and they guarantee it to get your game back within 24 hours. A lot of times it's a lot quicker than that. So I'm thinking maybe they have AI, some kind of crazy thing to do that. No, they don't have AI. I thought, okay, maybe they got some older retired coaches that they pay, maybe get in there and do that. No, they've got places in like Thailand and over in Asia where it's just big factories, and there's women in there that's inputting data for high school football games. So it's pretty cool. I was like, the guy from at Huddle was telling me this. I'm like, you're serious? He's like, yeah. But you always have to double check their work. They don't always get it right. So you just have to go back and double check. But it is pretty crazy though. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
A lot of coaches don't know that's how that's done.
Well,
but there's still a lot of work on our end, but that does take one coach's role out and save him probably 2 or 3 hours on a Saturday.
Lauren was just telling us, we asked him something about Kirby, and he's like, well, he doesn't have to sit and basically sleep at the office and splice film until 4 a.m. so he does get a chance to go home and see his family every now and then.
That's an interesting impression of it, by the way.
So, anyway, but that question kind of feeds into this getting to know Coach Groves segment here.
The triumphant return.
That's right. We're bringing it back, but we're talking about how technology has advanced. So what we're going to ask you is, since we make so many 80s references on this show, being children of the 80s, if you had a DeLorean, which that's what's sitting on the table here, Matt can show the viewers.
See what we got going on here, man. This was in my son's collection. Now it's in my collection here. There we go.
Good stuff. But if you had the DeLorean, if it were a real thing, what event, it could be sports, historical event, music, etc., would you travel back in time to attend?
It'd definitely probably be something sports related. I think, as the Braves fan, lifelong Braves fan, and some people may, but I think the 92 NLCS, when Sid slid, that would be a great game to be at.
Heck yeah.
And then obviously the 95 World Series, Game 6. Glavine shut them out, and that would be pretty cool to be there too. Complete game shutout, which pitchers don't even do anymore. So, they do 5 or 6 innings and they bring in the middle guy and out. But to do that in the World Series, pretty good. Maybe Michael Jordan's the shot against the Jazz.
Oh yeah,
Game 6. Yeah, that was pretty.
Or the food poisoning game. We don't know.
Yeah, it could be
either or.
Food poisoning, I think, is what it finally come out to be. And then maybe being the Sugar Bowl when The Dogs won it in 81.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good. 81 Sugar Bowl. That'd be pretty cool to be at. See Herschel over the top and all that.
Yeah.
Ian, do you have anything you want to throw in there for that?
Oh, there's plenty that I would go. But I'd like to be there for Hank Aaron's home run. My father was at that game, and I
My
wish I could
grandfather
get,
was there, and I've got one of those little postcards or whatever that said you were there that he gave me from being there. It's pretty neat. But
Yeah, and then my other is I would love to go back in time and watch Pink Floyd play live at Pompeii. Nobody went to that show, but if I had a DeLorean, I feel like I could just pull
make
up.
it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, sports-wise, it's less of necessarily a specific game or event, but I love old ballparks. So if I could go back in time and visit like Ebbets Field, or I never went to Tiger Stadium, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that one's
I'd
on my
like to
list.
go back and see some of those classic venues of sports that don't exist anymore and see what that was like during that period of time. That'd be pretty neat. From a music standpoint, I'm a big Stones fan. So to go back from like 1969 to 72, when you had Sticky Fingers era, Let It Bleed, Exile on Main Street, that era, to see them live during that sweet spot in the late 60s, early 70s, that would be on my list. So there you go.
Yeah, I have a Bad Day Rolling Stones YouTube video in which a crazed fan rushes the stage and goes after Mick Jagger, and you see Keith Richards with a cigarette in his hand. I'm not encouraging anybody out there to smoke if there's kids watching, but he doesn't even take the cigarette out of his mouth. He takes his guitar off, hits the fan to get him away from Mick, and then puts it back on and hits the note, right? I mean, so if I'm having a bad day, that is my go-to video. So, yeah, I'd go back and see the Stones in that era, too.
It'd be nice. I've seen them a few times, but it was, in the early 90s moving forward, and they were great shows. But to go during that time, it'd just be different. It'd be special. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our second segment of the show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to start breaking down the next opponent. It is a rivalry game, no matter what you want to say. The fans are going to view it that way. No question about that. It's the Pepperell Dragons hosting the Darlington Tigers in Lindale. It's about a 4-mile trip, go across the railroad tracks. It's going to be an amazing atmosphere. Can't wait for this game. Can't wait to dive in and talk about it with Coach Groves. This is the Coach Groves Show, and we will be right back.
Are you shopping for a new car, truck, or SUV? Riverside Auto Group has a location to meet your needs. Browse their selection online at riversideautogroup.com or visit with them in person at Riverside Chevrolet GMC in Rome, Riverside Toyota in Rome, Riverside Nissan in Rome, or Riverside GMC Cadillac in Cartersville. Locally owned and operated by the Welburn family since 1974. That's Riverside Auto Group.
And we welcome you back to this episode of the Coach Groves Show as we get ready for Game 6 to kick off here this weekend, Friday night, down in Lindale, as the Darlington Tigers hit the road to face the Pepperell Dragons. So we'll just go ahead and dive into the matchup, Coach. And, of course, we talked about it's a short trip. To get to the game, you guys, one of the things that's interesting about talking to you about this matchup is that you've been on both sides. You were a player at Pepperell, everybody knows that, and you've been the head coach at Darlington for the last few years, so you've been in this situation a few times. So obviously people get super enthusiastic about this matchup. You've got Darlington playing another local school. What do you think makes this matchup so special that gets people so fired up about it?
Yeah, well, I think, it's just the classic public versus private, rivalry. And all the public schools are always going to say the same things about us. They're the rich kids. They're the spoiled kids. You'll never be like them. This is your chance to get after them. All those things, and they're saying it. Because I would say the same thing too if I was on the other side. Right. But what people don't understand is we have a ton of blue collar kids too. We have a ton of tough kids too. And so, our kids have pride in their program too. So, it's not going to be an easy deal for either team. It's going to be a good, hard-nosed football game and just one for the fans to watch. Just because you're 4 miles apart, people in the communities are friends and know each other. So, you're going to have to hear about it, for 365 days. They heard about the hook and ladder last year. And so, they want to get their taste out of their mouth too. So, it's going to be a good ball game. It's all in good fun, with everything that goes on in the world. We know that football is not the most important thing, but it is pretty important on Friday at 7:30 in Lindale. It will be. So, it's going to be a good ball game. We got a lot of respect for their coaching staff. They've got some really good football players you're going to see. We've got some good players. They're going to make some good plays. We're going to make some good plays, and it's just going to be fun for the fans and a great atmosphere to be at. So, we're looking forward to it. This is why you play high school football for your kid, for these type of moments, and both sides are going to get that. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Pat, the Dragons are coming off a big, what many would consider an upset win over Temple last week. Got the win on the road, pulled away late. What do you see as the primary strengths of this Dragon squad?
Well, they are able to run the football really well. They do a great job with their skill guys in the screen game and getting their different playmakers out in space. And then on defense, they're really sound and fundamental and really solid. So, there's a reason why they beat a good Temple team last week. You don't win those games without, having a good coaching staff and having the players play hard. So, we have a lot of respect for them and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Coach, one of the things that we talked about last week, and it's kind of been a theme as leading up to region play, is you have a year this year where a lot of teams bring back a lot of familiar names. There's a lot of experience with you guys. There's a lot of experience with Haralson County last week. And then when you run down the list of region teams, that's pretty much true across the board, as is the case with this Pepperell Dragons team. So I know that when we talk about some of their players to keep an eye on, there's some guys that we've heard their names the last couple of years, correct?
Yeah, and a lot of these guys have been starters for, 2 and 3 years. Some have been 4 year starters. On offense, they run a pro style offense. They're very multiple. They play with 10 personnel with no tight end. They'll play with 11 personnel with one. They'll play with 21 personnel, and then they'll even get in empty and 2 tight ends and even 3 tight end formations. So I think their offense coordinator does a really good job. On defense, they're going to be a 3-4 defense. You're going to see a lot of cover four. They're going to roll their coverages. They're going to, you may even get into some even front, reduce down, get into some even front and play some 4-2. So, but some of the players you're going to know, wide receiver, outside linebacker, he played quarterback last year, number 6, Sam Ross. I think he's a really good football player. He's a really tough kid. And, he's kind of the guy they try to get the ball to. Running back number 2, Maddox Garcia, is another one. Him and they're A and B right there in the backfield and at receiver. Outside linebacker, tight end number 89, Hayden Wheat. He's 6 foot, 250 pounds. D lineman number 56, Doug Walters, is a really good ball player, 5'11", 254. They got a tight end, 2 tight ends. Number 7, Chris Applett, who's a senior, and then number 8, Tyler Barkley, is going to be a really good player. He's a freshman for them. And then number 79, defensive lineman, O-lineman, Steven Sept, is a big kid. He's about 6'3", 300.
Excellent, Coach. Well, what are the keys to success if you're going to pull off the win in Lindale Friday?
Well, we understand it's going to be an intense physical game. In those type of games, you have to be in the right mental mindset. I tell the kids, you have to be in that perfect combination of being physical and playing hard, but still being able to mentally focus and get your job done. And, sometimes you can get too hyped up, you can get too crazy and not get the job done. And so that we want to find that perfect combination. So that's going to be a key, especially in big games like this that are rivalry games, big region games. We have to be smart. We've got to have to execute, do all the little things right that you've been coached to do. We've got to do the little things right. We've got to take care of the football. We want to control the football with our offense, and we want to play physical and smart. So if we can do that, we'll be in the game in the fourth quarter and we'll have a chance to win.
Excellent. Well, my final question. What's the uni combination? But little caveat to that. Who all's involved in that decision and what's the process? Is this the coach's decision, or do you let the kids have some input?
So on senior night, I always ask the seniors what combination they want to wear. But on normal games, that's just a me decision and just what I feel like doing.
Excellent.
I don't know if you're looking for a better answer.
No, that's great. That's great.
We just poll the coaches and we do a vote. So we're going to wear the white on white stormtrooper look. We're going to go to Lindale in that, and I think that's a classic Darlington Road look. And so. Hopefully it'll be a good combination for us.
It's a simple process.
It is.
And it works.
Yep.
So, there you go. I like it. Well, this has been a lot of fun. We always enjoy having the opportunity to catch up with you, Coach, each and every week and kind of review the past week and talk about the upcoming opponent, and then even throw in there some random questions and stuff like that and just have some conversation about all things Darlington Tigers football. So thank you for your time, as always. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. That's going to put a wrap on this edition of the Coach Grove Show. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we hope to see you down in Lindale wearing your purple. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see you Friday night.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the Coach Groves Show. We invite you to join us again next week as we discuss all things Darlington football with head coach Wayne Groves. Go Tigers!
Dragon Stadium, Lynn Honeycutt Field, as the Darlington Tigers get ready to take on the Pepperell Dragons. And Ian, I don't think it's any stretch of the imagination or a surprise to hear us say this, but this is a rivalry matchup. It doesn't matter who you talk to, what they say about it. It's a rivalry. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, indeed it is. And there's a little extra mustard on this hot dog. That's the way I'd put it anyway. These kids, they know each other. There's a lot more ways to communicate and rattle each other's cages these days. So the student bodies, I think, probably partake in that more than the players, because the coaches are going to keep a lid on it. But, they want to get out here and win, and the fans want this game badly as well on both sides.
No question about it. And in terms of series history, Pepperell leads it, but narrowly. 14-13 is the series score currently. Darlington won in a dramatic comeback, complete with a recovery of an onside kick, a legendary hook and ladder. It was a game that had a little bit of everything, all the drama that this old ticker could possibly handle, and it was one of the most, if not most exciting football games that we've ever had the pleasure of broadcasting. I don't think that's any stretch of the imagination either.
Yeah, wild finish, and all, for Darlington, all sparked by a 75-yard delay handoff, touchdown run by Miles Twyman, and that lit the fuse. And then it was just a series of amazing plays that led to a stunning comeback win for Darlington. And then, of course, 2 years ago, Pepperell got the win here on this field. So, again, there's a lot of players that are on these rosters that were part of both of those games, and their memories aren't short, Matt.
Well, a little bit about the records of these two teams coming in. As far as overall, they're identical. Darlington comes in 2-3, lost their opening region game against a very, very much improved, excellent football team in Haralson County last week. Meanwhile, the Pepperell Dragons, they're 2-3 and 1-0 in region play after picking up what I would consider an upset, and I think the biggest surprise about it was the final score, Pepperell's win over Temple last week.
Yeah, and we're still, as odd as it is to say, in some instances we're still in the figuring it out phase as far as what these teams have based on the competition they've played so far. But we watched Temple last year, and I know that roster didn't have a complete turnover, so that's a good football team and a tough place to play, well coached. And I'd say right now that's the hallmark win for Coach Haywood since he's been at Pepperell, to go on the road and beat Temple in that fashion. Very impressive win for the Dragons. So they're going to come in here riding high and feeling good about themselves as they celebrate homecoming today.
Well, folks, we crossed the railroad tracks, made the 4-mile trek over here to Lindale. We're in Dragon Country tonight. The Darlington Tigers are here trying to spoil what we just learned is homecoming here tonight. So a lot at stake here in this particular game. We're looking forward to it coming up in just less than 10 minutes. What we're going to do now is take a 2-minute break. When we come back, we'll talk about the coaching matchup for tonight. Then we'll run down some key players. and looking forward to that segment. A little bit later on, we'll have our keys to the game, which you heard Coach Groves talk about in the Coach Groves show if you tuned in early for that. And then we'll also have the results of the coin toss, and the kickoff is less than 10 minutes away. Let's step out for 2 minutes. We'll take a 2-minute break. We'll continue the pregame after these messages.
Coosa Steel is a family-owned full-line steel service center located in Rome, Georgia. Since 1972, we've been working to make our customers more efficient by providing steel product supply and processing all in one place. We are proud to provide a large range of products, including hot-rolled and cold-finished steel, stainless steel, galvanized steel, aluminum, and alloys. Our capabilities enable us to assemble and process steel orders within days, shortening your lead time. Coosa Steel. Steel for your project.
At Rome Orthopedic Center, we salute students, freshmen and seniors, athletes and artists, first stringers and choral singers, band majors and game changers. We hope you never need orthopedic care, but if you do, choose the only practice in the Rome area solely dedicated to the orthopedic needs of the students and families in our community. Rome Orthopedic Center. To make an appointment, call 706-292-00.
The deadline for pre-K and kindergarten priority application is December 15th. Space is limited, so schedule your private campus tour at www.darlingtonschool.org/visit or by emailing admission@darlingtonschool.org.
And we welcome you back live here from Lindale, Georgia. We're at Dragon Stadium tonight. They're playing on Lynn Honeycutt Field. And, of course, the football history, you can really feel it when you're here. It's kind of like being at Chris Hunter Stadium from that aspect. Of course, both programs have had state championships in their history. And, man, it's fun to be down here. It really is.
Yeah, I was telling you in the pregame conversation that when I walk in here, I can take myself right back to that 90 championship game and the atmosphere that was here and what a run they had under Lynn Honeycutt, and that's why the field is named after the man.
Oh, absolutely. And I was not actually at the game. My dad was here broadcasting it. I was at home with my mom and my sister, but I'll never forget because we lived just a couple of miles away from the stadium, and we were listening on the radio, and we could go out on our front porch and hear the game a couple of miles away. I mean, it was an intense atmosphere even that far away.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it was nuts, and this is a tough place to play and one of those great high school football atmospheres in the state of Georgia.
Absolutely it is. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the coaching matchup for tonight. Of course, you got Wayne Groves, and this is one of those games. Obviously, everybody knows that he played high school football here at Pepperell, but he's been with Darlington for the last few years, so he's got some unique perspective on this matchup, doesn't he, Ian?
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's a Pepperell kid, but he's been around the state. Obviously, before he came to Darlington, he was the defensive coordinator at Rome High School under John Reed. 3 times during that tenure, he had the #1 defense in the state. Before that, he was with Powerhouse Valdosta. When you talk high school football in the state of Georgia, everybody knows about the Wildcats. And his 2014 defensive unit was ranked #1 in points allowed in the state during his tenure there. He's 13-13 as his head coach here at the Tigers with 2 playoff appearances, and he's looking for another one this year. But rubber meets the road here in region play.
And now for the Pepperell Dragons, we'll tell you about their head coach, Brandon Haywood. This is his second season as the head coach of the Dragons after going 2-8 in season 1. The Dragons have already matched that win total at the midpoint of this season. Prior to coming to Pepperell, he spent a couple of seasons as head coach of Woodland High in Bartow County, had a record of 3-17 there, but They had a really tough schedule, and he did a really good job when he was there. But he's a graduate of Rockmart High, where he played quarterback before going on to play collegiately at Carson Newman. He was the offensive coordinator at Rockmart from 2019 to 2021, the OC at Cass, and 2018 a running backs coach at River Ridge from 2013 to 2017. So even though he's only got about, I guess, 4 years now of head coaching experience, he's been a coach for a long time. He knows the game of football, no question about that.
Just a really good guy. He's got a good energy, and he's only in year 2 of building this Pepperell program and starting to make some headway.
We're about 4 minutes from kickoff. Let's give you some key players, and we're going to start with the Darlington Tigers.
Yeah, we're going to start with the triple award-winning black shirt for this week. If you watch the Coach Grove show or listen to it during the pregame, you found out that Trey Moore got offensive, defensive, and special teams black shirt honors because he punts, he's a receiver, he's a DB, and he had a great game last week, and Coach Groves can't say enough nice things about his development. Then we're going to talk about Jace Donaldson. He's Mr. Everything. He's making plays in all 3 phases of the game. A great defensive back, heck of a running back, and a receiver out of the backfield. Just a dangerous weapon who can turn anything into a touchdown. And then last week's Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game, it was Bo Powers. Bo Powers is an excellent blocker. He's a scrappy player. He's one of those glue guys, and a great runner when he gets the ball in his hands as well.
Well, let's talk about some of the key players for the Pepperell Dragons. Of course, we're going to start with number 2, Maddox Garcia. He's a running back and defensive back, also a senior leader on this team. Here's a note for you. Last week, he scored 4 touchdowns and gained 278 all-purpose yards in their victory over Temple. He's definitely one of the people that makes that offense go. Another one of them is going to be number 6, Sam Ross, a wide receiver linebacker. He's also played some quarterback in his high school career. He's a senior, offers a lot of leadership. He's always going to be one of the best athletes on the field and does a tremendous job. Meanwhile, you've got number 89, Hayden Wheat, a tight end and defensive line. He's a big kid. I've got his number somewhere around here.
I think.
Yeah, he's number 89. He's 6 foot tall, 250 pounds. He's a big kid, very talented. Coach Groves had a lot of nice things to say about all those guys and more. They got a talented roster for sure.
Yeah, talented, deep roster. It's going to be a scrap.
All right, the captains are out on the field for your Darlington Tigers tonight. You're going to have the usual suspects, Miles Twyman, Jace Donaldson, and then also Bryson Jones. And we'll get the Pepperell Dragons for you, but right now we're a little bit screened and can't pick up their numbers currently unless you got them.
Turner Crawford, 61, and Moss Tant, number 10.
All right, thank you, sir. So we'll get the coin toss. And again, it is homecoming tonight here from Pepperell. We're going to have the results of the coin toss here in just a couple of moments. And I tell you what, we do need to squeeze in one more break before we kick off. So we'll give you the coin toss results, and we'll go to a quick break and get ready for kickoff, which is coming up here in just a couple of moments. And what we got here, Ian?
I think Pepperell won. Yep. And they've deferred for the first time this season. We've gone back to the old popular defer to the second half. So Darlington will start with the ball on offense, and then the Dragons will get the opening kickoff in the second half.
We come back with the keys to the game and kickoff after a 1-minute timeout. Down the line, we'll be back in 1 minute for the keys to the game and the kickoff. We'll return. Well, Ian, you're going to have to alert me next time. I didn't see him loading the cannon, but we've already gotten one cannon blast so far in this game, and my heart rate
the press
went up.
box.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to give you the keys to the game, and then the kickoff here. We're going to get started here in just a couple of moments. We're going to start with number one, right mental mindset. You got a rivalry game here. You got to keep your emotions kind of balanced and in check. You don't want to get too high. Don't want to get too low, Ian.
Right, and you've got a team coming off of a benchmark win, and then Darlington coming off a really tough loss. So how do you reset mentally and keep yourself calm and focused?
And right now, Jace Donaldson's going back deep to receive here for the Tigers. Number two is play sound, fundamental football.
Yeah, and that's something Coach Groves preaches week in, week out. You got to protect the ball, go out there, and execute at the highest level if you want to win. And
then the last one is pretty apropos because right now the Darlington Tigers are going to be starting on offense. Number three is control the football with offense.
Yeah, and that includes not putting the ball on the turf as well. Ball security and ground and pound. 3 yards in a cloud of dust is a recipe for a Tiger win.
And here comes Spencer Baker to kick it away for the Dragons. That sounds kind of strange saying. And end over end drops in, will be fielded from the far sideline, streaking down the sidelines, lost the ball. I think it went out of bounds.
I don't know. Pepperell
Maybe
may have
not.
gotten on it.
Pepperell certainly thinks they have it. We're about to find out, but kind of squirted out as he went over to the sidelines. Pretty decent return if the Tigers still have the football, and I believe they do.
Yeah, I think it must have hit the boundary and then kind of popped back onto the field. So once it hits that boundary line, it's a dead ball and remains with the team that fumbled. And I'm going to see if I can catch it. We're on the far side of the field. Ball did come out. It hit a Dragon player on the foot, and then it was close. It was close, but the call is Darlington football.
All right, so we are now underway. First offensive play from scrimmage. Quarterback is under center. That's, of course, Levi Duggan. Takes the snap, turns, hands it off, and that's going to be the B-back dive. And not much there, Ian, on first down.
No, absolutely not. Pepperell's going to stack the box and try to take that away because if the dive's working, this offense opens up. And they were up to the challenge on the first play.
So got about a yard there. The drive started at the 38-yard line. Miles Twyman with the first carry after a good return by the Tigers and Jace Donaldson to start the game. Going to have quarterback under center. Of course, that's Levi. Going to send two wide receivers to the far side this time. Tigers behind the chains. There's the snap. Going to hand it off. Go up the middle again. And a good chunk of yards that time for Miles Twyman as he gets a good carry.
That's exactly what you want. Got a good push that time. Miles got behind his blockers and kept the legs driving, picked up about 6 yards.
So the Tigers offense remains committed to the B-back play the first two plays, and they're able to get some room to run there on that second play of the ball game, and that's going to set up a third and long 4.
Let's see if they try to get Duggan on the outside here with a little run-pass option.
So the Tigers run back to the line of scrimmage. Everybody's going to be in tight here for this play. Tigers working from right to left. They're in their white uniforms. There's the snap. Going to be a quick pitch to Jace Donaldson. Stiff arms, gets dropped. Great play there by Maddox Garcia.
Yeah, it really was. Just an outstanding open field tackle there. Just went with the toss play to Donaldson. That's been a bread and butter play this season for Darlington, and he had some space, but Garcia did a good job tracking Donaldson and taking his feet out from under him to bring him down for the tackle. It looks like the Tigers are going.
Going to go for it on fourth here and third. May try to draw them off sides first. And that looks like they're trying to go for the hard count there as Levi Duggan looks off to the sidelines. Going to send a wide receiver to the far side, one on the near. Let's see what they do here. Man motions off towards the right, and it looked like one of the Tigers jumped there.
Yep, they were trying, and there's no harm, no foul there. If you can get a free 5, grab it. While that penalty might be a little frustrating, it's just going to back them up 5 yards. They were going to punt the football unless Pepperell jumped off, and they did not. So the Dragons stayed disciplined there.
And so the Tigers are going to go 3 and out on their first possession of the football game, and they get ready to punt with 9:49 remaining here in the first quarter of the ball game. Going to have one man back here for the Pepperell Dragons. Here comes the kick from Trey Moore, and this is going to be a fair catch signaled by Maddox Garcia at the 31-yard line.
Trey Moore, again, we mentioned in the pregame that he was awarded the black shirt for special teams. He had a great week kicking the football last week. You can tell he's really been working on his punting skills because the hang time's been great, and if you can get the ball up and allow your coverage team to get down and be in position to make a tackle, you can prevent big returns. So excellent punt there from Moore.
If you're watching on the live stream, we just got a great shot just a couple of moments ago of the beautiful sunset that we've got here in Lindale. They just threw it back up there. Look at that, Ian.
That's pretty amazing.
Absolutely awesome.
You missed it earlier, but after that cannon shot, they showed the smoke because we know the guru, Nathan Patterson, knows you jumping out of your seat every time they fire that thing.
Well, it may not have been intentional, but I feel like I need to thank them for not having a webcam in here on us, because that could be some comedy for some folks. I'll say that. It's going to be a handoff to Garcia. Flag came in, though, right away.
That's got to be a hold where it was thrown. They went with a little jet sweep there, pop pass to Garcia. False start, okay, all right.
So that'll be a 5-yard penalty against the Dragons, so they will back up to the 26-yard line after the penalty yards.
It'll be 1st and 15 from there.
So they're going to send 2 wide receivers to the near side. Their quarterback is Moss Tant, a senior. Gets ready to take the snap here from the shotgun. He's got the ball, and the ball's on the turf. Picks it up, has to tuck it and try to run, and he's going to be wrapped up by a host of Darlington Tigers who are going to stop his forward progress. So a positive play there on defense for the Tigers.
Yeah, a little bit surprised there that there wasn't a holding call. One of the Darlington defenders, and I don't have a name next to number 65. I don't know if you have that written in on your roster.
I do not. We'll have to check on that.
Okay. But he was making a play towards the quarterback. It looked like it got a little bit handsy there, but no call. And we'll set up 2nd and 13.
All right, so the shotgun formation, 2 wide set near side. Tant dropping back, going to throw a dart. It's almost and is intercepted. Coming in and grabbing the ball for the Darlington Tigers is Evan Parton. Wrapped it up with his paws, and that is a turnover. Wow.
Was it Parton that got it?
No, I think it was actually Ty Wood.
Yeah,
My
Ty
bad,
Wood.
correction. I saw the 5, thought there was a 2, but it was a 0. That was Ty Wood, so correction on that. But it's a turnover. Wow.
And Darlington dropped back in zone coverage. And Wood went up and high-pointed the ball and then made a heck of a juggling catch. Got face mask, too, on the way down. That did not get called. But absolutely spectacular play there from Ty Wood.
All right, so the Tigers have got the ball back, and they want to work quick. They're at the line of scrimmage, which is at the Pepperell 39-yard line. And there's the snap. Going to throw a pitch, get it over to Bo Powers. He tries to cut out to the outside, slides, and gets down to about the 33-yard line. So a good pickup for Bo.
Yeah, nice play there and a good block by Jace Donaldson. A good job by Jace avoiding the hold in this position because he didn't have the greatest angle, but he did a good job letting go at the right time there to not get flagged. And Bo Powers is able to get the drive off to a positive start there with that carry.
Got it down to the 33-yard line. 2nd down and 4 for the Tigers, trying to strike quick here in this ball game after the turnover gave him a short field. There's the snap. Going to hold it, looking for the pitch. Nope, going to run the football. Levi's got it, stays up, streaking down the sidelines, and he's going to be brought down at about the 12-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Tigers in the red zone.
Great
flag came in late, though.
We'll see what the call is here. Great vision by Levi. As the officiating crew gathers to discuss the call, we'll see what it is as the white hat pulls over. Personal foul on Pepperell. And that should be tacked on half the distance of the goal from the end of the run, which would put Darlington at 1st and goal at the 6-yard line.
All right. So it looked like the Tigers were going to have it at about the 12-yard line, but instead it's going to be a 6 because of the penalty and half the distance to the goal. So the Tigers are going to line up at the 6-yard line. 7:48 left to go here in the first quarter of the ball game. And this is the 2nd possession of the ball game for the Tigers because of a turnover from the Pepperell Dragons. An interception picked up by Ty Wood. He absolutely called a dart, too.
Yeah, circus catch.
Duggan under center, ready to take the snap. He's got the ball, turns, gives it to Miles, and the ball's loose on the turf, and that looks like the Dragons have recovered. Wow. Wow.
Just a bad exchange there.
And coming out with it for the Dragons was Peyton Newberry, it looks like, Ian.
Yep. And now we're even in the turnover battle at 1 apiece. That one stings as the Tigers were first and goal at the 6 and coughed it up.
All right, so that happened with 7 minutes and 37 seconds left in the first quarter. And the Dragons have gone to the sidelines. They'll come back to the line of scrimmage. Now, they got to kind of get themselves away from the goal line here. They're going to line up at their own 6-yard line.
Yeah, they are backed up to start this drive. But both offenses have now had a turnover. That was a backbreaker there for Darlington. But these guys, we've talked about it a million times, that mentality of next play, moving on, staying focused, not letting it rattle you, is something they've really embraced.
2 wide receivers to the near side for the Dragons. One on the far side. Moss Tant is going to line up ready to take the snap. I think we might have some kind of a clock issue or something going on. Got a little bit of a stoppage of play. I'm not sure what it is. Beautiful night for football. We're low 80s at kickoff. It was really hot before the sun went down, but thankfully it dropped back behind the hill over here, and it feels pretty good now. But
yeah, I could. It was one of those situations where I couldn't see driving up the hill to park. The sun was just beaming right down.
And so Moss Tant is going to be under center. He's going to have 2 wide receivers to the near. Matt Garcia goes off to that left side, and they are going to run the football. And staying up and being brought down right at about where he started was the running back. Was that Tyler Barkley? I didn't catch the number there.
That ran the football? I didn't see it either.
Let's just see if we can catch that.
I think so.
They ran a
number
tall
5.
Sweep to number 5, Blaze McCary.
It's a good name. It's a good name for a running back.
It truly is.
We've had some well-named running backs this season.
Isn't that the truth? That's a 2-yard gain, got it out to the 8-yard line. So that brings up 2nd and 8 for the Dragons, working from left to right. Going to have a wide receiver on the near side, one on the far side. Now in the slot is Matt Garcia. Tant going to motion another guy up to the tight end position. There's the snap. Tant dropping back, going to throw. It's almost intercepted. Reaching up for the Tigers was Nate Konchesky. Couldn't quite get a paw on it, but that's an incomplete pass.
Well,
wow.
What we're seeing from this Tigers defense so far is they are stacking the box, trying to take away the run, and they're trying to make Moss Tant beat him with his arm. But the coverage has been excellent downfield as well. So this Darlington secondary and linebacking core is doing a great job in coverage.
Interesting first quarter so far. Right now we're scoreless, 6:44 left to go in the quarter, so we're about halfway through with the first frame here. Going to be trips to the near side here for Pepperell as they've got 3rd down and 8 from their own 8. Dropping back into the end zone, throws a screen pass, and he is greeted by Ty Wood. Brought him down at the 3. Matt Garcia was the ball carrier.
I think Ty Wood's hungry, and I think he's got a sweet tooth. He's putting his name in the hat early here. That was a heck of a play. Matt, we talked about the screen game and how it had hurt Darlington, and Coach Groves brought that up specifically when we talked to him, that they were working hard on practice on making sure they were reading the screen and defending it properly. That time they got the penetration. The offensive line lets the front through, but that was a great job sniffing out the screen and blowing it up by Ty Wood. Excellent play.
So Pepperell is on to punt the football, and I believe this is Sam Ross there with the kick, and that's going to be end over end. Drops, takes a Pepperell bounce, and keeps on rolling all the way down to about the 44-yard line before they touch it.
And that hit it like the 28 and just took off. So whatever funky spin Ross was able to pull on that ball was definitely good for the Dragons, but great field position nonetheless for Darlington as they set up for their 3rd offensive possession. They will be at the Dragons' 43-yard line.
Well, I tell you what, man, this game has already been a wild one so far, which is what you expect here from Darlington and Pepperell in this rivalry.
I think when you talk about that mental game, it's obvious to me the Tigers are sharp tonight. They're feeling it.
They're fired up. They're going to be under center here from the 43-yard line on Pepperell's side of the field. Quick pitch, going to go to Bo Powers. He spun around, stays up, shakes free. Here he goes. Bo Powers heading towards the corner of the end zone. 5, gone! Touchdown, Darlington Tigers. 43 yards to pay dirt. Bo Powers with a massive play, and the Tigers strike first, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That was an example of the defender trying to pull him down and not wrapping up, and he kind of slingshotted Powers as he came from the outside, took the toss play, followed his blockers, and he, like I said, he was kind of slingshotted forward. Matt Garcia got out of position because of that, and then Powers was able to use his speed to break away and take it to the house.
Ade Desalu on to try to tack on the extra point. Here it is on the way and through. It's 7-0, and the Darlington Tigers strike first blood.
That's right. One play, and they have the lead. Amazing run there by Bo Powers. 43-yard touchdown for that young man. And again, you know, he won our Honeymoon Bakery Icing on the Cake Player of the Game last week, and he won it for reasons outside of making a big play like he just did. He was gritty. He fought hard to strip away a potential fumble from Haralson County, and he recovered another fumble in the game. That, along with his downfield blocking, earned him that honor last week. But this week, he's out there making explosive plays, and he's given the Tigers a lead on the road.
Absolutely. 7-0. 5:39 remains in the first quarter of the football game. And the Tigers are playing with a little bit of a different edge
you can
tonight.
feel it. And look, Pepperell's playing hard too. Like, these two teams want this game, but we talked about how would Darlington move forward from that loss to Haralson. That was a tough loss last week, and it looks like they are mentally checked in and ready to go for this big rivalry matchup on the road.
Ade ready to trot towards the ball and kick it away to the Dragons. And here comes the kick. It's going to be a short kick. Drops in at about the 33, will be fielded and brought out by the Dragons. And number 3, who is going to be hit at about the 44, number 3 is Peyton Newberry. And he carries the pile a little bit. We'll see where they mark the football here in just a moment.
And that one had some weird spin on it, man. But Peyton Newberry did a good job returning it and got a little push from his guys, but eventually was brought down. And Pepperell will have a pretty good field position as well, starting at their 47.
Last drive, they started out at their own 6, so needless to say, this is much better
yeah.
field position. Of course, that was after a turnover, but 2 wide receivers on the near side, 1 on the far for Moss Tant, quarterback in the gun. And he is ready to take the snap. He's got the ball, turns, he's going to hand it off. He's going to give it over to Blaze McCary, who drives forward for about 2-3 yards.
Darlington is absolutely focused on stopping this running game. They are stacking the box. They are attacking, and right now winning the battle up front so far. There's a lot of football left to play, but doing a great job at the line of scrimmage.
1 2-yard pickup there for Blaze McCary as we get ready for the next snap. It's going to be 2nd and 8 with the ball just shy of midfield. And the Dragons are going to send 2 wide receivers to the near side, 1 on the far side. In the slot's going to be Matt Garcia. And Tant gets ready to take the snap. He's got the ball. He's going to hand it off. They run it off to the left side. Find a little bit of room there. And picking up about 3 yards was Trey Chapman. He's a freshman, so seeing some freshmen get carries here early in the game.
Yeah, absolutely, and as the numbers grow here for Pepperell, we've heard good things about their middle school program as well, and some young players that are going to have an opportunity to be big-time stars here in Lindale going forward.
So now the Dragons have it in Tiger territory at the 48-yard line. This is a 3rd and 5 coming up from that 48 with 4:14 left to go in the first quarter, and a Darlington 7-0 lead here early in this football game. 1 wide receiver to the near side, a couple on the far side this time here for 3rd and 5. Tant takes the snap. He's got the ball. He's going to run it and gets out to the outside, gets the first down. Nice stiff arm at the end of the play, gets him across the 40.
Yeah, just a little QB power there with Moss Tant. He followed Sam Ross, had a big hole off on the left side of that line and was able to get a good pickup, eventually brought down by Trey Moore. But the Dragons have their first down of the game.
Absolutely, they do, and that brings them down to the 41-yard line with 1st and 10 here in Tiger territory. One man back in the backfield here with Tant. He's going to have two wide receivers to the near side, one on the far side. Going to have an H-back on that left side. There's a quick pass to the outside, connects with this receiver. That's going to be Chris Alphen, and they're going to be very close to moving the chains again, I believe.
And with the way Darlington's attacking the run right there, you saw a little quick RPO play action. Get the ball out quick to your playmakers in space, and Chris Alphen was able to turn that one upfield and get another first down.
That was an 11-yard play to Alphen. And now the Dragons are going to have the ball at the 30-yard line on the Tigers side of the field, trailing at home to the Tigers 7-0. We've got 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first quarter. There's the snap. Going to go with a little shovel pass out to the left side. Connects with his man. He's out of bounds at the 20, and I think that was Trey Chapman there.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the chess match. As Darlington stacks the box to stop the run, Pepperell's throwing some wrinkles in there in the passing game. The first several passing attempts for Tant were dropbacks, little slow developing plays, but now they've shifted this to getting it out quick on the perimeter.
Now the ball is at the 19-yard line in the red zone here for the Dragons as they go to the huddle before they go back to the line of scrimmage. We're right at the 3-minute mark here of the first quarter of the ball game. Quarterback's going to roll up under center for this play with two wide receivers on the far side, one on the near. Dropping back, play fake, going to put the ball in the air on a screen play, connects with Chapman. He streaks down the sidelines and scoots into the end zone. A 19-yard play for a touchdown, and the Dragons have struck back.
Yeah, they go under center there. Good play design there as Tant goes out, goes play action, and then rolls out to his right and throws it back across the field to Chapman on the little screen, and Chapman able to find a lane and take it to the house. And they're literal fireworks here in Lindale, but figuratively, the play on the field has certainly been electrifying.
Spencer Baker on for the extra point to try to tie the ball game up. Here for the Dragons, here is the kick, and that one's going to be through, and we've got a tie ball game with 2:51 left to go in the first quarter, 7-7.
Absolutely. A good-looking kick there from young Spencer Baker. He's a quarterback in training, playing quarterback for the JV team for Pepperell, but also handling these place-kicking duties, and it's all tied up.
All right, folks. We're glad to have you with us tonight, whether you're listening on the radio or watching on the live stream. Darlington football, we're just getting started here tonight. Still have a few minutes left of the first quarter. We're going to have a lot of football for you this weekend. Of course, we've got the Darlington Pepperell game tonight. After that, it'll be the Rome Orthopedic Center High School football scoreboard show. Tomorrow, we'll have a lot of sports for you. We're going to have Braves in the evening, but during the day, we're going to have Georgia Tech and Wake Forest. So, we'll, like I say, a lot of live sports on the radio throughout the weekend. And it's going to be a very special game for the Braves coming up on Sunday because you probably heard, but Charlie Morton is now back with the Braves, and I heard the Braves are going to start him on Sunday and then bring Chris Sale in shortly after that. And then it's kind of speculated that Charlie Morton's going to end the road that day. So we'll see what happens. I don't know that that's official or not, but he's definitely been a special Brave and player and played in Rome for the Rome Braves a couple of different times. Well, the Tigers are going to bring it out. Miles Twyman received the kick and got it out to close to the 25-yard line before they reeled him out of bounds.
Yes, so far, that's the worst starting field position of the night for Darlington. They've really had some great field position here in the first quarter. But these two teams are settling into this game. Maybe a little jitters early on both sides. You had some miscues, some penalties. But both offenses find pay dirt on their third possession of the game. And we're all knotted up at 7 here at Dragon Stadium.
And big crowd on both sides. It's a great atmosphere for this football game tonight. This is a special environment for sure. Everybody in tight here out of the base formation. There's the snap from Levi. He's got the ball. He's going to tuck it, run it, and gets out to about the 30, so that's close to a 5-yard pickup.
Yeah, and Duggan being very decisive with the football here in this game as he decided to cut that one back in. Could have pitched it early, but he made a good read, used his vision, got upfield, and got positive yards. Again, we talked about how important it is to stay ahead of the chains and control the clock on offense.
Two wide receivers. Well, one split to the far side, got one in the slot. That's Nate Konchesky. Duggan under center here as he takes the snap, rolls out to his right, looking to throw, got company in the backfield, shakes him off and gets tackled. There's a flag that comes in, Ian.
It's either going to be a hold or a face mask. I think it was a hold. We'll see. Yep. So that'll back the Tigers up. And anytime at the quarterback position, especially in an option offense when you're scrambling around like that and your linemen are getting downfield, the longer you dance around, more opportunity there is for the refs to find a hold. So, but Pepperell's going to decline that.
So that's going to bring up 3rd down and long here for the Tigers.
An interesting decision there. Could have put them in 2nd and 15 or so, and instead they're going to leave him with a 3rd down and manageable opportunity here, about 7.
Trey Moore is going to be split wide to the near side, it looks like. Going to send Nate Konchesky wide right here for 3rd down and 7. Ball at the 28. There's the snap. Dropping back is Levi. Going to throw it to Trey Moore. He connects, and he'll be stopped right at about the 35-yard line, as Ian pointed out. Should be good enough for the 1st down.
Absolutely. So, again, the declined holding penalty allowed Darlington to have a 3rd and manageable, and they took advantage of it there. We've seen this play a lot. There's nothing too fancy about it. The 3-step drop and fire to your wide receiver, who just basically does a little curl route, and then Moore was able to fight for the extra yards needed for the 1st down.
Everybody in tight for this formation here on 1st and 10 with the ball at the 35. There's the snap. Levi's got it, going to tuck the football and run, maybe got a couple of yards. That play kind of broke down on him a little bit there.
It did. Good wiggle from Levi to make the first defender miss, but the 2nd guy was there to bring him down for a 2-yard gain.
I don't know about you, man, but I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing my roster.
Yeah, I'm going to find us a light switch. When we get a break, I'll find the light switch, my friend. I'm in the same boat.
It may not be the best situation, though, because there may be a glare on that window, so we may have to pick the lesser poison at some point, but we'll do what we can. I can see it well enough, but quarterback under center, receiver to the near side, 2nd down and 8. There's the snap, and going to run the football. Squeaks out. Duggan is on the run, stays up, gets a 1st down, and he's at about midfield.
That was a violent tackle, and we're going to have some chippiness here because that was – I don't think there was anything dirty about it. Somehow he just got lifted into the air, and it was more of a power bomb than a tackle. But I didn't see anything illegal whatsoever. But anytime a quarterback takes a hard hit, the rest of his teammates are going to come to his aid. That was a good tackle by Sam Ross. He did drive him into the turf. Maybe a little extra talking afterwards.
And a 15-yard gain there for the Tigers, and they're at midfield with another 1st down. So far, so good on this drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And time winding down here in the 1st quarter. Play clock's off. This will likely be the last play of the 1st period.
5 seconds on the clock. Duggan ready to take the snap. He's got the ball and turns and is going to take a sack and back to about the 40-yard line. So that's a loss of 10.
Yeah, and that'll be the last play of the quarter. And that was a busted play. When Duggan snapped it, I think he was expecting. I mean, it was just blown up by the defense, and he had nowhere to go, but turned around and ended up being a huge loss.
All right, folks, that's going to be the end of the 1st quarter. We're knotted up at 7 apiece. Very exciting first 12 minutes of this football game. We're back for the next 12 minutes after a 1 minute break. 1 minute break.
Coosa Steel is a family-owned full-line steel service center located in Rome, Georgia. Since 1972, we've been working to make our customers more efficient by providing steel product supply and processing all in one place. We are proud to provide a large range of products, including hot-rolled and cold-finished steel, stainless steel, galvanized steel, aluminum, and alloys. Our capabilities enable us to assemble and process steel orders within days, shortening your lead time. Coosa Steel. Steel for your project.
right, the Tigers are on the ball now. Going to have a couple of wide receivers to the near side. Here's the snap on 2nd and 15. Going to hand it off to Miles Twyman. Cuts out to the far side, stays up, and he's going to go out of bounds at about the 50-yard line, so about midfield, Ian.
Well, both these teams are familiar with the play they just ran. That was the play last year that sparked the Tigers' comeback. A little delay handoff there to Miles Twyman, and he was able to get, like you said, almost back to the original line of scrimmage, but the Tigers will find themselves in a 3rd and 11 situation here at their own 49-yard line.
So again, Tigers at the 49, and they're going to send, well, we'll see how they line up, but it's going to be 3rd down and 11, 11:50 left to go here in the first half of play. We're just underway with the second quarter. At the end of the night, we'll have the Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game, and right now we got a couple of guys for sure that are in the running, Ty Wood and Bo Powers. Bo Powers won it last week.
Timeout, Darlington.
All right, so we're going to take it as well. 11:50 left to go. First half, all tied up at 7 apiece. A big 3rd down and 11 coming up from about midfield for the Tigers when we come back in 30 seconds.
At Rome Orthopedic Center, we salute students, freshmen and seniors, athletes and artists, first stringers and choral singers, band majors and game changers. We hope you never need orthopedic care, but if you do, choose the only practice in the Rome area solely dedicated to the orthopedic needs of the students and families in our community. Rome Orthopedic Center. To make an appointment, call 706-292-0040.
All right, welcome you back here to Lindale, Georgia. We're at Dragon Stadium tonight. They're playing on Lynn Honeycutt Field. It's the Darlington Tigers and the Pepperell Dragons, and it's living up to what people expect from this matchup so far. It has been a really exciting football game so far.
Back and forth, and a big 3rd down for the Tigers.
3rd and 11 to be exact. Ball at the 49-yard line. Dropping back is Levi looking downfield. He's got company in the backfield. Pitches it, gets it to Miles Twyman, and he's going to be brought down at about the 40-yard line. So another big loss there for the Tigers.
And a risky play there to toss the ball that late to Twyman. Luckily, it was a forward pass, so even if it had hit the turf, it would have been incomplete. So a calculated risk there by Duggan to try to extend the play. But it didn't work out. The Tigers went backwards on the 3rd set of downs on this drive after picking up 2 first downs. And we'll have to punt this away.
All right, so Trey Moore is on to punt it away. Back deep is going to be Maddox Garcia. He's standing at the near hash at about the 29-yard line. And here comes the kick. Going to be end over end. Maddox Garcia is going to field it and bring it out. He stays up, gets across the 35, down to about the 36 or 37.
End over end, kind of a line drive kick there, but great coverage by the Darlington special teams there. Garcia is a dangerous return man, and they had him boxed in with nowhere to go.
So the ball is at the 37-yard line. That's where the Dragons are going to take over after the punt there from the Tigers. And this will be, what, 1, 2, 3, the 4th possession of the game here for the Dragons, if I'm looking at that right.
Both teams have jumped out and had their opportunities here on offense. Tigers are going to need to stop here.
I found a solution to my light problem.
I see that.
It's called every phone has got a flashlight on it. We're good to go. No excuses. 2 wide receivers over to the far side. There's the snap. Tant going to throw it out with a quick out to the outside. Gets it to Alphen. He stays up and is across to about the 45-yard line. So they're about 2 yards away from a first down.
And that time, Alphen was greeted early in the route, so the adjustment made there by the Tigers, but Moore couldn't bring him to the ground, and then Alphen made a nice cut and fought for some tough extra yards. And the little mini footballs are yellow for the Dragons, and they're flying around all over the sideline, so I keep thinking I'm seeing flags, but they're footballs.
So the ball's at the 45-yard line. That brings up a 2nd down and 3 here. 10-12 left to go in the first half of play. We're tied at 7 apiece. This has been fun. Man motions to the right side. Going to fake the pitch. A flag came in, though.
Yeah, Dragon moved early, so that should be 5 yards the other way. And indeed it will be.
So instead of being 2nd down and 3, it's going to be 2nd and 8.
Yeah, the stadium is full to the brim. Dragons fans and Tigers fans have come out for this battle of the tracks, right? What was it that Clay dubbed it? You don't remember? Yeah, they're separated by the tracks. So it's the railroad track rivalry. We'll just go there.
There you go, man. 2 wide receivers to the near side. There's the snap. Going to throw a quick pass to the outside. The Tigers were ready and bring him down at about the 40.
Yes, they were. I believe that was Brooke Temple on the tackle. Let me make sure that I have that right. Went RPO there, pulled the ball. Tant's getting it out quickly. That was Nate Konchesky.
And so now the Dragons have it 3rd down and 8, ball at their own 40 with 9:05 and the clock ticking here in the 2nd quarter of the ball game. They'll come back to the line of scrimmage, going to send 3 wide receivers to the near side, 1 on the far side, 1 man in the backfield here with Tant as he takes the snap from the gun. He's going to hand it off. They go to the right side on the play, and streaking down the sidelines is Trey Chapman. He'll be caught at about the 25-yard line, but a big play from that young man.
And Pepperell just pulled a play from Darlington's playbook there. That's the exact play that Twyman scored on last year and that they just ran on the last possession. This time it's the Dragons running that delayed handoff, and Chapman gets an explosive play there and gets Dragons into scoring position.
Absolutely, he did. And the freshman running back has been making a name for himself this season. Another explosive play from that young man.
Already has a touchdown reception on the night.
And so the Dragons are going to line up 1st and 10 now at the Tigers 26. Shotgun formation, man motions from right to left. There's the snap. Tant puts it in the air. It's going to be towards the corner of the end zone. Incomplete. Good coverage by Trey Moore.
Absolutely. Moore didn't really get a chance to turn around. Hopefully this young man for the Dragons is okay. Yeah, he's up. Okay. All right. But Moore, step for step as that was in the back of the end zone, didn't turn to make a play on the ball, but did not touch the receiver. Got up and high pointed it. So a nice pass break up there by Trey Moore.
All right. So the Dragons will go back to the line of scrimmage and back to the drawing board. 2nd down and 10. Ball remains at the 26-yard line after the incomplete pass. Beautiful night for football, if we haven't pointed that out to you.
It sure is.
It's been kind of a hot day, but it started to cool off pretty nicely here tonight. It's hard to believe we'll be in October next week. This is game 6. We're past the midway point. There's the snap. Going to drive forward. Quarterback, I believe, ran the ball there.
Not often that you see just a sneak on 2nd and 10, but that is exactly what they did and got a nice chunky yards doing it.
Got about 7 there, so that's going to bring up 3rd down and 3, so it was effective, to your point. So the ball is now down at about the 17-yard line as the Dragons are back to the line of scrimmage with 3rd and 2 to go. I have a couple of wing backs on the set, quarterback under center here, Moss Tant. And he gets ready to take the snap. He's got the ball, going to hand it off. Cuts toward the near side, does the ball carrier. That's Maddox Garcia's got the 1st down, and he's going to be out of bounds.
Yeah, Darlington got penetration earlier there, but Garcia was able to bounce it outside and get loose for the 1st down.
And so it's going to be 1st and goal here for the Dragons from the 9 after the good pickup there by Maddox Garcia. And the Dragons are trying to take the lead here as we're closing in on the midway point of the 2nd quarter of this football game. We got 7:15 left to go here in the 2nd quarter with a tie ball game at 7 apiece. So again, 1st and goal from the 9. Dragons at the line of scrimmage, going to line up in the gun with everybody in tight, but a couple of wide receivers on the far side. Working from right to left. There's the snap. Tant going to throw a quick pass, and into the end zone goes the wide receiver, and that was number 6, Sam Ross, with the reception and a touchdown to give the Dragons the lead.
Just a little slant pattern there.
I was ready for it that time,
Nice,
man.
Nice. Good job, Matt. Good job. But Tant put the ball on the money. And the Dragons have their first lead of the game here with 5 minutes and 55 seconds left in the second quarter.
So a 9-yard play to pay dirt there for the Dragons, and they will get ready to tack on the extra point. Spencer Baker puts it through the uprights, and it's going to be 14-7. Dragons lead the Tigers with 6:55 left to go in the second quarter.
An impressive drive there from the Dragons, sparked by about a 37-yard run on a delay handoff by Trey Chapman. And three plays later, the Dragons were in the end zone.
All right, folks, so we'll get ready for the Dragons to kick the ball away here to your Darlington Tigers and see if they can answer the bell here. We've got a good ball game going from down here in Lindale. It's been hyped up and talked about for a long time. I know it's been a lot of exciting, a lot of tension building up to this game throughout the week. Now it's here, and so far this game has really delivered the goods. This has been a really entertaining football game so far.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of everything. You had some turnovers, some big plays by both sides. And important drive here for Darlington, however, because Pepperell won the toss and deferred to the second half, so they will get the ball to start the second half. So Darlington would love nothing more than to take this ball and methodically drive it down the field and get some points, head to the locker room all knotted up at 14.
Well, both of these teams have really faced tough competition through the first 5 games of the season. I think that's one of the things they have in common. These are two good football teams. End over end. Looks like Miles Twyman's going to pick it up at the 10 and try to bring it out. He's across the 15, got up to about maybe the 17 before they got him out of bounds.
Yeah, that one kind of died when it hit the turf and was effective for the Dragons to pin Darlington back inside their own 20.
And so the Tigers will start at their own 17. With 6:49 left to go here in the first half of play. We'll have some scores from other area games coming up at halftime during our halftime show. And, of course, we'll get to watch the marching band, which is always a tremendous amount of fun. And we mentioned to you in the pregame, it's homecoming night here in Dragon Country. Levi's under center, 1st and 10 from the 17. Going to pitch it to Bo Powers, who's had a big night already, and he's across the 20, so picks up about 4 yards.
And one development, and I found myself wondering where number 6 has been. He's on the bench with an ice pack on his foot. That is a major development in this game. Jace Donaldson is a key player for this Tigers team on both sides of the ball.
On for this package is going to be Caleb Covington as Trey Moore comes off the field here for the Tigers. This is going to be 2nd down and 5. After the pickup there from Bo, he actually got 5 yards. I cheated him out of 1. I'm sorry. Don't want to do that.
Don't do that.
Oh. Young man earned it. Levi Duggan under center, ready to take the snap. Base formation, everybody in tight, going to hand it off. They go with Miles on that play, and he's across the 25. So that's going to bring him within about 3rd and 2, I think.
Yeah. Staying ahead of the chains so far on this drive.
The Pepperell Dragons won the toss and deferred to the second half, and there was a long period of time being where it felt like every game, if a team won the toss, they would defer to the second half. This year, that's kind of bucking the trend, really.
It is. No, this is the first game we've covered where that has happened this season.
Tigers go back, trying to convert on a 3rd and 1. They're going to roll up to the line of scrimmage with everybody in tight, and the backfield is going to be that B-back position, Miles Twyman. There's the snap, going to hand it off, try to go up the middle, keeps those legs turning.
Second effort. I think
I think he had enough to get it. We'll see where they mark his forward progress.
Yeah, they're moving the chains. He was hit right at the line of scrimmage, but then pushed forward, and then it doesn't matter if they push him back from there, that forward progress.
Oh, he had more than enough.
Yeah, he had plenty.
Got it to the 27-yard line, so that's 1st and 10 Tigers as they convert on 3rd down. That was a big play right there, keeping this drive going, getting late in the first half of the ball game. Tigers would love to get a score. Tie this thing up before they go to the locker room. Under center's Duggan, going to fake, going with the pitch, cuts it to the near side, and Brooke Temple is going to be brought down at the 30.
And a great tackle there by Matt Garcia. We saw how dangerous Temple can be if you give him just a little bit of room to run, and it looked like he had it right there, but the closing speed of Garcia was excellent there before Temple could get his jets going.
So that brings up 2nd and 8, Ian, after a pickup of 2. Now with 4:20 and the clock ticking here in the second quarter. Ball's at the 30-yard line for the Tigers. They're working from left to right. Going to have 2 wide receivers far side, 1 on the near. Duggan is under center. He'll take the snap, drops back, going to throw a quick pass, gets it to Konchesky, and he leaped forward there at the end of the play, and that's going to move the chains.
And Nate Konchesky's just one of those glue guys on this team. He does all the little things well. Sat down on his route right there, gave Duggan a good target, and then is able to make a move upfield to move the chains.
Indeed he did. Going to be 2 wide receivers far side, 1 on the near. Brooke Temple's lined up in the slot. There's the snap. Duggan going to hand it off. They go with a B-back dive. Didn't get a lot there on that play. Miles Twyman was the carrier. He maybe got a yard or 2. See where they spot it.
They'll just keep pounding the rock.
That's exactly right.
Plenty of time on the clock. 2 timeouts left for the Tigers. They can execute their offense. They don't have to be in a hurry. And most importantly, you don't want to leave the Dragons with a lot of time to counter and try to get another score before the half expires.
Going to be 2 wide receivers far side, 1 on the near. Duggan under center, takes the snap, looking to throw, puts it in the air, connects with Konchesky, shakes off a defender, stays up, and goes out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. Big play.
And Nate Konchesky's fired up, man, sitting down on that route, keeping it simple for Duggan to fire that ball in confidently on a 3-step drop, and then getting the yards after the catch. This time he gets about 13 extra.
Yes, he did. Excellent play there by Nate Konchesky. And the Tigers are on the move. They've got it at the 43-yard line on the Dragons side of the field with 3 minutes and 5 seconds left to work with. You're getting screamed by a fan, huh?
I am.
Quarterback under center. There's the snap. Going to fake the handoff. Quarterback's going to run, and it takes a couple of Dragons to bring him down. Hard run there by Levi. Picks up 2 yards.
And nothing wrong with that. You want 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but you'll take 2 on first down. Just don't want to move behind the chains there, and that was well defended by the Dragons.
And so that's going to bring up 2nd down and 9 to go. There's actually a 1-yard pickup. Ball's at the 42. 2:33 left to go here in the half. Dragons lead the Tigers 14-7. Tigers with the football in Dragon territory. Here comes 2nd down and 9. 2 wide receivers to the far side, 1 on the near. Duggan taking the snap, handing it off quickly, gets it to Miles Twyman, trying to pound him forward, but the defensive line is on top of him immediately.
Yeah, let's give the Dragons some credit. They have defended the dive play well. I think the longest carry they've had on that play was 6 or 7 yards for Miles, but for the most part, he has been greeted close to the line of scrimmage and had to fight for those extra yards.
All right, so we're going to have a timeout. We're going to take it as well. Dragons take that one. 2:04 left to go here in the first half. Dragons lead at 14-7. A 3rd down coming up here for the Darlington Tigers. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Shop for your next car, truck, or SUV at Riverside Auto Group. Check out riversideautogroup.com today to browse their selection or visit with them in person at Riverside Chevrolet GMC in Rome, Riverside Toyota in Rome, and the all-new Riverside GMC Cadillac in Cartersville. Locally owned and operated by the Welburn family since 1974. That's Riverside Auto Group. Visit riversideautogroup.com.
Welcome back to Lindale, everybody. Wish you could be with us, but I'm glad that we can provide coverage for you on the radio or the video tonight in your absence here, but you're missing a great atmosphere for a football game. Best place to be is at the game, but we're glad that we can bring the call to you and also the live stream for you here tonight. But anyway, 2:04 left to go here in the first half. Tigers trail it 14-7 here on the road playing the Dragons. Made the 4-mile trek over here tonight. And we're having a good time. This is an entertaining football game so far in the first half.
Pepperell took a timeout there in an effort to, if they can get the stop, have enough time to counter with an offensive drive before the half. Great clock management on both sides here. The Tigers have drained the clock and are putting themselves in scoring position. Could be in 4-down territory here. If they pick up 3 or 4 yards, I imagine they'll go for it if they don't get the first down here.
Wide receiver on each side as Duggan takes the snap. He drops back looking to throw up the middle of the field and can't connect there with Bo Powers, who looked to be open there. That's going to be an incomplete pass.
Yeah, and I think Duggan was thrown off his back foot there as one of the Dragon defenders came down on him as he threw. He had him on the crossing route, kind of flicked the ball forward, wasn't able to really step into that pass, and that affected it, and it fell incomplete. And with that stopping the clock here, I don't think you want to take a risk on 4th and 8. So Trey Moore will trot out to punt this and try to pin the Dragons deep. Matt Garcia back at the Dragons' 10-yard line to receive.
And so Moore awaits the snap here with 1:58 remaining in the first half of play. He's got the ball, is going to boot it away end over end, and that one's going to go into the end zone.
Yeah, that one had a little too much heat on it. Garcia let it go, and it rocketed through the back of the end zone, so the Dragons will get it at their own 20 here. With 1:51 left and 2 timeouts, they've got a quarterback in Moss Tant who's got a pretty big arm, but Darlington has done a good job not allowing a lot of explosive plays in the passing game. Good coverage from the secondary so far. Most of his yards have come on underneath passes and screens. And that, I don't think they can really have time to dink and dunk their way down the field here unless they use the boundary to stop the clock.
Well, let's see what they try to do in the remaining 1 minute and 51 seconds of our first half of play. Right now, the Dragons have the ball and the lead, 14-7 over the Darlington Tigers. Going to be a shotgun formation, 2 wide on each side. Man's going to motion off to the right side. That's Garcia going to run a sweep play to him, and he's going to be brought down just across the 25-yard line.
Yeah, a little pop pass with Garcia coming in motion, turning on the Jets right as the ball snapped. And getting upfield, he was short of the first down, so the clock will continue to run as the Dragons hurry up and get on the ball.
And so Garcia picked up 7 yards on that play. 2 wide receivers on each side. There's the snap to Tant, dropping back, looking to throw, puts the ball in the air and connects with a receiver on the sidelines, but I think he was out of bounds.
They're going to rule it a completion. Oh. Yeah, he stretched. I just didn't see if he could get a foot down there, and I'm looking at the replay now. I'll see if I can get a
Sam
good.
Ross was the receiver.
Yeah, fantastic. Stretched out. Yeah, absolutely. He possessed that ball all the way to the ground, and I think he got both feet down.
Wow, that was an incredible play.
It really was.
So now the Dragons have got it 1st and 10 from their own 43. Going to have 2 wide receivers on each side. Tant drops back, looking to throw. He's got company, throws it just in time. It's almost intercepted there by the Tigers.
Yeah, Brooke Temple is going to be dreaming about that one tonight. That was a chance to make a big play there as Tant was just absolutely blasted by Cooper Norris as he threw, and Temple just couldn't reel it in.
Bryson Jones back out onto the field here for the Tigers. For Sawyer Sorrells. Excuse me. And now the Dragons get ready to go back to the line of scrimmage with 2nd and 10 from their own 43-yard line with 1:11 left to go in the half. And they're going to have 2 wide receivers on each side as Tant gets ready to take the snap with Chapman in the backfield with him. There's the snap. Tant looking to throw. He's got company in the backfield. Works to his right side and throws it out of bounds.
Yeah. Great job there by Darlington, getting pressure but covering his check downs. He had nowhere to go with the ball. Scrambled around to see if he could get a receiver to free up, but good coverage forced him to throw that one out of bounds.
Coach Groves giving some instruction here to the defense. 3rd and 10 coming up here with 1 minute to go in the half for the Dragons. They lead at 14-7, back on the ball at the 43. Going to line up with 2 wide receivers on each side, shotgun formation. Chapman in the backfield. Here's the snap to Tant. He is going to try to run the football, shakes free, is up, gets close to the first down. I believe he's got it.
Yeah, and that's a tough one to swallow because Darlington really had it defended pretty well. They just didn't get him to the turf when they had their opportunity. Breaks a tackle and then gets some yards after contact that allow him to move the chains and extend this drive.
So the Dragons want to run a little tempo here. 2 wide receivers to the near side, a couple on the far. Tant dropping back, looking to throw, puts it in the air, connects with the receiver. That's Ross over there with the connection at about the 33.
Ross is just kind of the definition of a Pepperell football player, isn't he? Just a tough kid who plays hard every play. And, he was their quarterback last year, and then Tant came on and took over at that position, allowing him to move out to wide receiver, and he's a heck of a playmaker.
Yeah, he's going to make plays for you no matter where you line that young man up, and we're going to have a timeout, so we're going to take it as well. 35.8 left to go in the first half. Dragons got 1st and 10 from the Tigers' 32 when we come back after a quick 30-second timeout.
The deadline for 2026-2027 priority application and financial aid is February 15th. Schedule your private campus tour at www.darlingtonschool.org. Visit or by emailing admission at darlingtonschool.org.
All right, the Tigers will go back to the line of scrimmage now with a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 from the Tigers' 32 with 35.8 seconds remaining on the clock in the second quarter, leading at 14-7. The Dragons are. There's a quick reverse, and with the football is Matt Garcia streaking down the sidelines, and he is headed to the end zone. A 32-yard play to pay dirt, and the Dragons come out and score a quick touchdown here with 26.4 seconds left to go until halftime.
Yeah, they come out of the timeout. Ready yourself for the cannon, good sir.
Thank you for the warning. I appreciate that.
I'm trying. I'm your wingman. I got to be there for you in these situations. It's coming.
Thank you. I was ready that time. I wouldn't have been. I forget every time. Oh, boy.
But, a little razzle-dazzle, like I said, dialing up the trick play, and Garcia able to find the running lane and cash it in.
All right, here's Spencer Baker for the extra point, and that one is going to be through, and the score moves to 21-7, Dragons on top.
And a huge drive. Great clock management by the Dragons there. They used a timeout on defense when Darlington was driving on that previous possession. And got a stop, leaving enough time on the clock for them to kind of execute their offense. But they did execute the downfield passing game. You had 2 sideline receptions for Sam Ross on that drive, a good run by Moss Tant, and then they go to the trick play, and Matt Garcia cashes it in. And a beautiful crescent moon this evening above Dragon Stadium here at Lynn Honeycutt Field.
Well, I hope that is highly accurate of what type of moon that is, because I remember one time we said it was one thing and it was something
another.
That was a little bit different. Yeah. But I have to admit, I don't know all the ins and the outs of the phases of the moon.
I didn't say waxing or waning. No. I just said crescent. So
26.4 seconds left. Here's Spencer Baker to kick it away. It's going to be a squib, and it'll be picked up by the Tigers and brought out and dropped. At about the 25 is going to be
Jace
Donaldson, who's back out onto the field.
Yep, and he's got a little hitch in his giddy up. We saw him; he's got some kind of foot injury, and it had to have occurred in the first quarter. He iced it. He put his cleat back on, and we saw him kind of trotting around on the sidelines. And I think that'll do it for him for at least the first half. We'll see if he can find a way to fight through and play in the second. Tough young man. He wants to be out there.
Yeah, you got to tip your cap. I mean, he wants to get out there and help the team.
You can tell he's hurt.
There's no question he's hurt. All right, so it looks like the Tigers will just take a knee and take it to the locker room down 21-7 to 7 as time will run out here in the first half of play. But it was a really super exciting first half of play. It was a tight game. Right now the Dragons, though, lead at 21-7 as both teams will make their way to their respective locker rooms. But really entertaining first half.
Yeah, absolutely. That score before half is big. The Dragons get the ball to start, as you mentioned. But Darlington has been right there making some great plays. They've been dialed in tonight. Pepperell's just been able to make a few more big plays. That's the difference in the game right now.
Just got to keep on fighting, man.
Right.
Got to keep on fighting. Well, it is now officially halftime. Pepperell Dragons lead at 21-7, playing here at home tonight for their homecoming. So they're getting ready for all the pomp and circumstance of that, and you'll get to see some of that on the video stream. But we're glad you're with us tonight, whether you're listening on the radio or watching on the live stream. We're going to take live stream. We're going to take a break for 3 minutes. We'll come back with a halftime show after these messages.
Coosa Steel is a family-owned full-line steel service center located in Rome, Georgia. Since 1972, we've been working to make our customers more efficient by providing steel product supply and processing all in one place. We are proud to provide a large range of products, including hot-rolled and cold-finished steel, stainless steel, galvanized steel, aluminum, and alloys. Our capabilities enable us to assemble and process steel orders within days, shortening your lead time. Coosa Steel. Steel for your project.
At Rome Orthopedic Center, we salute students, freshmen and seniors, athletes and artists, first stringers and choral singers, band majors and game changers. We hope you never need orthopedic care, but if you do, choose the only practice in the Rome area solely dedicated to the orthopedic needs of the students and families in our community. Rome Orthopedic Center. To make an appointment, call 706-292-0040.
The deadline for 2026-2027 priority application and financial aid is February 15th. Schedule your private campus tour at www.darlingtonschool.org/visit or by emailing admission@darlingtonschool.org.
Mark your calendar for Alumni Weekend on October 24th through October 26th. For information on hotel blocks and reunions for classes ending in 0 and 5, visit our website at www.darlingtonschool.org/alumni weekend. We hope to see you there.
Back live here from Lindale, Georgia. We're in Dragon Country tonight, hanging out with the Tigers. But right now the Tigers are down, but not out. They're down 21-7 after a late first half score there by the Dragons. Dragons will receive the opening kickoff of the second half. But Ian, the Tigers are right in this thing.
Yeah,
they really are.
No, you had to wonder what the emotional state of the team would be coming off of a really tough loss last week at home to Haralson County, and it was apparent from the opening kickoff that they were dialed in and ready to put forth great effort tonight against their cross-county rival. And they've played hard. They've made some big plays. You had that turnover, the immaculate interception by Ty Wood, but then they coughed it up going into the end zone, found a way to get a 3 and out. And then Bo Powers explodes for a 43-yard touchdown to give them a 6-0 lead. The Sally popped through the extra point, and they were up 7-0 early. And then it was knotted up at 7-7 there for a while before Pepperell finally got a lead. Darlington had a great drive going there at the end of the half, but eventually it fizzled out and they had to punt, and Pepperell drove the ball 80 yards to get a touchdown right before the half and gets the opening kickoff. So it's about going back to the locker room, making the adjustments, and coming out and trying to get a stop on that first drive so that their offense can have a chance to fight back and get back in this ball game.
And so with all of that said, our halftime score is Pepperell Dragons 21, Darlington Tigers 7. And one of the things that we always like to do here at our halftime show is take a look at some other scores that are going on around the area. We got anything interesting taking place tonight, man? It's kind of a slow night. A lot of teams got to bye.
It is a slow night, and I'm going to have to check a couple of other sites here to see if I can get some other scores. ScoreStream doesn't have a lot here. I've got Fannin County up 21-0 over the 5-0 Gordon Central Warriors. Looks like that undefeated season's about to slip away, but Fannin County's a really good football team. No slight to the Warriors. They've really achieved a lot getting those first 5 wins this season, but looks like that's going to come to an end. Calhoun up 16-0 at Adairsville. Gordon Lee, they're having a great season.
They truly are.
Yeah, they're up 21-0. In the first quarter, this says over Chattooga. I don't have a score on the Armurchie-Dade County game or the Coosa Christian Heritage game, but I do have a score over at Sam R. McCain. The Tryon Bulldogs are leading Manchester 7-6.
Oh, wow. A tight game there. And both those teams are dealing with the same thing.
Yeah.
They had a lot of roster turnover, very talented kids on the team, but they had to replace a lot of really experienced players that had a tremendous amount of success the last few years.
Yeah.
So.
These are two powerhouse programs that are in that reloading process as they bring some underclassmen up to get back to where they were. So a really interesting matchup. That'll be a fun one to keep an eye on as the night goes forward. And when we're done here, Matt, they're going to be talking about it back at the WLAQ studios, the Butler boys and the Rome Orthopedic Center scoreboard show. You got to tune in. You got to call in. You got to tell us what's happening around the area.
You can be a part of the show at 706-232-7767. Write it down now. That way you'll have it later so you can be a participant. Well, folks, we're going to take a timeout. We'll probably run down some college scores. I know there's some games that are taking place tonight. I'll give you an update on the Braves as they enter their final series of the season at home against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Going to be a special weekend for the Braves. Unfortunately, that'll be the end of the road for them. And our coverage, of course, will be winding down with the season. But we've enjoyed being a part of the Braves Radio Network pretty much ever since they've been there. I think there was only a season or two where we didn't have them since they went to Atlanta in 1966. So quite a tradition of Braves baseball on the airwaves of WLAQ, and we're certainly very proud of that, despite the fact it was kind of a tough year for the Braves. But the future's bright. I mean, they just hit the injury bug early.
Yep.
Had some trouble with the starting rotation in particular.
And the bullpen struggled a little bit too, but they found their footing late. And you've got to think, his track record's pretty good. And I'm talking about Alex Anthopoulos. The guy knows how to make moves. Sometimes injuries get in the way of a successful season, but if there's one guy I trust to go out and retool the roster the right way, it's that guy.
Yeah, sometimes when you have a season like this, you wonder if it's the start of a lengthy rebuild or something like that. That is not the case here. I think they'll bounce back next year and could be a playoff contender as early as next year with what he'll do in terms of his roster moves and then the pieces that they do have and getting guys healthy again.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a big part of it. But anyway, we need to take another break, so we'll do that. But we'll be back in 3 minutes. When we come back, we'll relay some more scores and continue to talk about this particular matchup we're at tonight. It is the Darlington Tigers on the road facing the Pepperell Dragons down in Lindale, about 4 miles from the campus of Darlington School. And right now the Dragons lead it at halftime, 21-7 over your Darlington Tigers. We're back in 3 minutes.
Coosa Steel is a family-owned full-line steel service center located in Rome, Georgia. Since 1972, we've been working to make our customers more efficient by providing steel product supply and processing all in one place. We are proud to provide a large range of products, including hot rolled and cold finished steel, stainless steel, galvanized steel, aluminum, and alloys. Our capabilities enable us to assemble and process steel orders within days, shortening your lead time. Coosa Steel. Steel for your project.
Shop for your next car, truck, or SUV at Riverside Auto Group. Check out riversideautogroup.com today to browse their selection or visit with them in person at Riverside Chevrolet GMC in Rome, Riverside Toyota in Rome, and the all-new Riverside GMC Cadillac in Cartersville. Locally owned and operated by the Welburn family since 1974. That's Riverside Auto Group. Visit riversideautogroup.com.
The deadline for 2026 to 2027 priority application and financial aid is February 15th. Schedule your private campus tour at www.darlingtonschool.org/visit or by emailing admission@darlingtonschool.org.
Mark your calendar for Alumni Weekend on October 24th through October 26th. For information on hotel blocks and reunions for classes ending in 0 and 5, visit our website at www.darlingtonschool.org/alumni weekend. We hope to see you there.
Welcome you back live here in Lindale, Georgia. Right now the Pepperell Dragons on top of the Darlington Tigers, 21-7. We're at halftime. Got about 10 minutes until the homecoming presentation is done here, and we get back to some football. But, man, special night here tonight for the folks here in Lindale. As homecoming is always a special night, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. A chance for the alums to come back and relive their glory days, right?
Oh, man. Well, let's see. Is
that what you're doing tonight?
Well, I will admit to our viewers and listeners, I am a 1997 class of 1997 alum of Pepperell High School. It is a fact, no question about that. But tonight we're riding with the Tigers. But the Pittsburgh Pirates are up over the Atlanta Braves right now, 4-1 in the top of the fifth. Here's a few more scores for you. Of course, one more score we'll talk about. And our buddy, who is the voice of the Rome Emperors, Gavin Booker, he's got to be a happy boy right at the moment. But Florida State and UVA are locked up at 21 apiece.
Yeah, and oddly enough, Virginia jumped out to a 14-0 lead, and then Florida State scored 3 quick touchdowns to go up 21-14. But the Who's, as they are lovingly known by the Charlottesville faithful, have answered and knotted it all up at 21 as they head to halftime. And we'll see. We talked about that when we picked that in our picks, and I told you, the Who's can score, man. I've watched them play. They have got an offense. They're going to get some points. But can they hang with the Noles? Looks like that maybe they can.
So far, so good. So we'll see what happens, and we'll keep you posted on that game as we go along through our night here. Do want to let you know we got a lot of sports coming up for you on WLAQ throughout the remainder of the weekend. We'll have the Rome Orthopedic Center High School football scoreboard show after we award for the 6th time this year. The Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game tonight. We'll turn it over to Lynn and Austin. Let them do their thing and take your calls. And then tomorrow we're going to have a lot of sports for you. We'll get started at 10 a.m. with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets pregame show, 2 hours of that, followed by a noon kickoff against Wake Forest. Could be a tricky game there for the Yellow Jackets, maybe.
Yeah. You just, if you're a Tech fan, there's PTSD involved with games like this. A sleepy noon kick on the road against one of the lower tier teams in the SEC. Not that Wake Forest hasn't had some excellent football teams, but the Deacons. I mean, there's a song about it for the Deacon Blues. I mean, this is not a program that has posted a lot of great seasons. So that one's a little nerve-wracking for Tech fans. You got to get up, drink your coffee, watch game day, be ready and dialed in at noon for that kick.
Looking forward to it. And then after that, we'll go to the Braves pregame at 6 o'clock as they get ready to take on the Pirates. And then on Sunday, as the Braves get ready to wrap up the season, they're going to be doing something that I think is really, really neat and special. But if you're a Braves fan, you probably heard earlier this week that the Tigers released Charlie Morton. He came back to the Braves, and he's going to be the starting pitcher for the game on Sunday in the season finale. And then I was reading today that they're going to bring in Chris Sale at some point, so I would think that the start's going to be a fairly short one from Charlie Morton, and that may be the end of a long, illustrious career that has multiple World Series rings. And it's interesting because when you go back with Charlie Morton's career, he started as a Brave. He played in Rome a couple of different times. It took a little while to get his career on the right path. Got traded to the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's really where things started to take off for him. And how fitting that he may end his career playing for his original team against a former team that gave him a shot. I mean, there's just so many great storylines with that situation. Classy move by the Braves to do that.
Yeah, and in this day and age, it's rare that you're going to have a guy who plays for one franchise his entire career. It's just not the way things work anymore. But I love it when you see something like this. When this is where he got his start. He had his last stint with the Braves. He was amazing, just really the most consistent of all the pitchers. And you had Max Fried and Strider and some real studs in that rotation, but Morton was the guy you wanted the ball in his hands when you had a big game. And I think it's great that he's going to get to come back and get a proper send-off for a great career.
And I'll share a real quick personal story, and I'll try not to get emotional when I tell this, but my dad called the Rome Braves games for several years, of course, when they started playing here in Rome. And one of the people that he really liked a lot was Charlie Morton. They hit it off, had a special friendship, and he stayed in touch with him for a while. And I remember one time my dad hosted a show on Christmas Eve on WLAQ. It was called Sitting with Santa. And he took phone calls from people. And Charlie Morton called in and was a part of that show that night. And it was a special memory for him and for our family. And he's just a great guy. So I always appreciated how good he was to my dad during that period of time.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's a good place for us to take a break. We're glad you're with us tonight. The Pepperell Dragons lead the Darlington Tigers, but the Tigers have been in this thing all night. It's going to be a very exciting interesting second half of football. Dragons lead it, though, 21-7. Tigers look to change that when we start the second half. We're glad you're with us tonight. We are down in Lindale. We're rivalry football for you tonight. We'll be back for more after a 3-minute break.
Coosa Steel is a family-owned full-line steel service center located in Rome, Georgia. Since 1972, we've been working to make our customers more efficient by providing steel product supply and processing all in one place. We are proud to provide a large range of products, including hot-rolled and cold-finished steel, stainless steel, galvanized steel, aluminum, and alloys. Our capabilities enable us to assemble and process steel orders within days, shortening your lead time. Coosa Steel. Steel for your project.
At At Rome Orthopedic Center, we salute students, freshmen and seniors, athletes and artists, first stringers and choral singers, band majors and game changers. We hope you never need orthopedic care, but if you do, choose the only practice in the Rome area solely dedicated to the orthopedic needs of the students and families in our community. Rome Orthopedic Center. To make an appointment, call 706-292-0040.
The deadline for 2026-2027 priority application and financial aid is February 15th. Schedule your private campus tour at www.darlingtonschool.org/visit or by emailing admission@darlingtonschool.org.
Mark your calendar for Alumni Weekend on October 24th through October 26th. For information on hotel blocks and reunions for classes ending in 0 and 5, visit our website at www.darlingtonschool.org/alumni weekend. We hope to see you there.
Folks, we welcome you back to live coverage of Darlington Tigers football on the live stream and then also radio broadcast on WLAQ. And right now the Dragons lead at 21-7. Just got a text message from Alex Farrer, who's the former sports editor of the Rome News Tribune and just a heck of a guy. And he said, yeah, Ian is right. As a Tech fan, the noon game at Wake scares me to death, but hopefully this is the new Georgia Tech, and you won't see those sorts of things happening. And I kind of feel that is the case, but old habits die hard, don't they?
Yeah. You grow up rooting for Tech, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, yeah, let's hope they go up there and keep a razor-sharp focus and take care of business in Winston-Salem.
Well, and I also hope that Nathan's listening to the call right now, because you just got the ultimate compliment there from Alex. He's a man that knows what he's talking about, but he said to make sure that Nathan knows the stream is the best he's ever seen for high school sports. So some high praise, no question about it, from a great source. We appreciate you, Alex. Great to hear from him. Miss seeing you at the games.
I know. It's weird not catching Alex a couple of times a season. He showed up once last year. I can't remember where we crossed paths, but yeah, we miss you, Alex. Hope all's well with you. And I happen to agree. What Northwest Georgia Media puts out there on that stream, top notch. Glad to be a part of it.
All right, folks. Well, that is the end of the halftime period. Now, of course, you'll have the warm-up period for both teams. So we're going to take this opportunity to catch our breath, because I think we're going to need it, because it's about to go down. The second half between the Dragons and your Darlington Tigers. Right now, the Dragons on top, 21-7. We're going to be back in 2.5 minutes.
Coosa Steel is a family-owned full-line steel service center located in Rome, Georgia. Since 1972, we've been working to make our customers more efficient by providing steel product supply and processing all in one place. We are proud to provide a large range of products, including hot-rolled and cold-finished steel, stainless steel, galvanized steel, aluminum, and alloys. Our capabilities enable us to assemble and process steel orders within days, shortening your lead time. Coosa Steel. Steel for your project.
me back in live here. We're in Lindale, Georgia, getting ready for the start of the second half between your Darlington Tigers and the Pepperell Dragons. Dragons playing tonight on their home field on homecoming night as the Tigers look to try to come back in this game and spoil it for them here on Lynn Honeycutt Field. We'll see what happens as we get ready to start the second half. The Pepperell Dragons won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so they'll get the first crack at it out of the break. So let's see if the Tigers can pin those ears back and get a stop, see if they can build on that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the doctor orders for a Tigers comeback here. Matt, I did get a couple of scores for our area teams, thanks to ScoreAtlanta.com. Dade County up over Armuchee 31-0 in Trenton, and the Coosa Eagles up 28-14 in the second quarter over Christian Heritage.
Wow.
On the road.
I think most people would consider that an upset if that holds.
If it holds, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Ade DeCello is going to kick it away. A short kick, drops in at about the 34. Ball's on the turf, and I think that the Dragons were able to cover, so they're going to have pretty decent field position.
And both times the Tigers have kicked off tonight, they've kicked it around the 35-yard line, avoiding some of the explosive playmakers in the return game that the Dragons have. Surrendering some decent field position, but avoiding any kind of big explosive plays in the return game. Sometimes you have to pick your poison, and obviously that's the strategy that the Tigers have taken tonight. Yeah, I'm starting to think Coach Cannon's just trying to mess with me and make me lose the picks, because I backed his Eagles all season, then I pick against them, and now they're going to go out there and get a big W.
Well, I picked against them too this week, so. Two wide receivers on the far side, one on the near. Quick pitch from the quarterback, Tant, and he gets it to number 5, Blaze McCary, and he's across midfield to the 45. That was a big run.
And he is living up to the name Blaze on that run, because he was a blur taking that ball on the pitch and just burning it down the field. He's got long legs, runs like a deer. That is a physical specimen there for the Dragons. Just a freshman, too.
A couple of freshmen getting some significant plays in this game. A couple of wide receivers far side, one in the air. That's going to be a quick pitch. Goes right back to Blaze, who streaks down the sidelines and goes out of bounds at about the 25, I think.
You know, growing up, my dad would call that student body left or right. Just a little pitch play, nothing fancy about it. Just pitch it and hit the running lane, turn on the afterburners, and Blaze has done just that on his first 2 carries of the second half. And Tigers' defense is going to have to stiffen up here.
So after the pickup of 13, it's the second first down in as many plays for the Dragons. 2 wide receivers on the far side, one on the near. Under center is Tant. There's the snap, going to quick pitch. And gets it in the hands of Chapman. He drives towards the outside, gets it inside the 25. Another good pickup for the Dragons.
Well, the Dragons have come out determined to run the rock behind the right side of their offensive line here in the second half, and they're not wasting any time, as you've said. Quick pitch every time to the right side. Same 3 plays so far on this drive, and they've had success every time.
So second down and 3 here for the Dragons. 2 wide receivers far side, one on the near, as Tant is under center for this play. He's going to pitch it again quickly, gets it out to Chapman, and he is so quick and gets to about the 15. 2 flags come in. These are going to be personal fouls, I believe.
Yeah, and we'll keep our fingers crossed these are offsetting and not going to go against the Tigers. But Chapman got over there to the sidelines, and let's see, he's well out of bounds. Yeah, we're probably going to get a late hit. See how they call it.
And so an 8-yard gain there for the runner, which obviously, as we mentioned to you, was Chapman, another freshman.
And Pepperell's in a hurry to get to the line, but they've got to march off the penalty yards before you can do that. And it'll be at half the distance to the goal. So this will set them up with first and goal somewhere between the 7 and 8 yard line.
That hurts. So the third first down here for Pepperell on this drive. They started at their own 38-yard line, marched downfield pretty quickly here. There's the snap. Tant going to push forward towards the goal line, still up, and I believe he's in. Yes, he is.
That's just the old tush push. We saw it in the first half on a 2nd and 10, and they picked up a a first down, and this time they get a touchdown. And well, I forgot to warn you, buddy. Sorry, I was distracted analyzing the play that time. Didn't get a chance to give you a warning. But an impressive drive there, 5 plays and a touchdown. Not what Darlington wanted to start this second half.
Here's Spencer Baker for the extra, and it is up and through. He's been automatic, and now it moves to 28-7 in favor of the Dragons.
And it'll be up to the Darlington offense now to keep pace with Pepperell. Pepperell's found their groove on offense. And that time just attacking behind the right side of their offensive line.
So again, a quick score there by the Pepperell Dragons out of the gate, and they scored in less than a minute and a half into the third quarter and lead at 28-7 over your Tigers. So the kicking team is back out on the field here for the Dragons. And you're going to have one man back here for the Tigers. That's going to be Miles Twyman. I do not see Jace Donaldson out there, Ian.
He's been running up and down the sidelines some. I don't think he's given up on getting back in the game. But we'll just have to wait and see if that actually comes to fruition.
All right, we get ready for Spencer Baker to kick it away here for the Pepperell Dragons. Kick is on the way. It's going to be end over end. Miles trying to track it down at about the 10, and he's going to watch it roll out of bounds.
Smart to let that one go out. And it's getting a little chippy out there. Got some smack talk going on.
Right now the coach is getting guys back over to the sidelines. Temperature has gone up a little bit down on the field. Outside, it's gone down a little bit, which is nice. We got a little bit of a breeze blowing into the press box, but
I'm envious of your open window.
I know, man. Well,
it's actually very comfortable in here. It is. We have been in much stickier situations over the years.
Duly noted. Quarterback's under center. I knew you were going to call me out for that eventually. Everybody in tight. They're going to hand it off. Go with the B-back dive. Miles Twyman breaks free and gets out close to the 50.
And that's the first time that the dive has really had a chance. He almost popped that one. He was really close to housing it. And if they can get the dive going, everything else falls in place. It's been tough sledding, getting yards out on the perimeter. This Dragons defense has defended it well. You got to tip your cap to them, but that time Miles was able to find a seam and get an explosive.
14-yard pickup for Miles and the Tigers. 1st and 10 from the 49, just shy of Dragon territory. There's the snap. Dropping back is Levi. Puts the ball in the air. Did he get underneath it?
Nope.
I think it's incomplete.
Ball was low. I couldn't see it, to be honest with you, and I don't think we'll be able to see it on the replay. Levi Duggan is arguing that he reeled it in, but ruled incomplete, and so it'll be 2nd and 10.
And so the Tigers are back to the line of scrimmage. Everybody in tight here for this formation. 2nd and 10 from the 49-yard line after the incomplete pass. There's the snap, going to hand it off. No, quarterback's going to keep it, scoots around, and gets out to the 45-yard line. A good play.
You know, for the most part tonight, Levi Duggan has done a really good job about being very quick with his decision-making in this offense. If he pulls it, he's not wasting a lot of time. He's getting upfield. He's getting positive yards. And the Tigers have moved the chains. That's the thing, is this game's 28-7, but I don't think it's as lopsided as the scoreboard shows, to be honest. Darlington just hasn't been able to put points on the board.
9:28 remains in the third quarter. 3rd down and 4. There's the snap. Going to fake the handoff, try to go with the pitch. Ball is loose on the turf.
They're going to call that an incomplete pass. And I mean, it was it was close. Again, high school football, what they call on the field is what it is, no matter what. So they're going to say that was a forward pass. And Darlington down 28-7 here on Pepperell's side of the field. This is go time.
And Ian, the scoreboard shows 27-7. Did I miss something? I thought they made the last extra point.
I did too, but maybe you missed it.
We'll double check on that. right, wide receiver's going to be on the far side. That's Trey Moore on the near side. It's Nate Konchesky. They're going for it on 4th and 4 from the 45-yard line in Dragon territory. Levi's got company. He's going to shovel it, gets it out to Brooke Temple. He stays up. He's out across the 40. That should be enough. A flag comes in, though.
And that could do it right there. Perhaps a face mask or a late hit. But it was going to be close no matter what. I think Temple got it. Bo Powers is confidently signaling it's a first down, and we did get a face mask as well. So whether he made the line of gain or not, the chains are moving, and they're moving a little extra. And I don't know if it was a 5-yard or a 15-yard variety, but we're about to see, 15-yarder. So the Tigers are now within striking distance at the Pepperell 26-yard line, I believe.
Well, that was a big swing right there. And so the Tigers go to the line of scrimmage with 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line, trying to get it into the red zone here. Going to line up with everybody in tight out of their base formation. There's the snap. Ball's loose on the turf. And did the Tigers cover?
I sure hope so.
I sure hope so, too. But no, they did not. That's a second turnover of the night, I believe, for the Tigers.
Both of them on Pepperell's side of the field within striking distance of the end zone. One on the 6-yard line, now one on the 26. So that ball security coming back to bite the Tigers, as that was an unforced error there, just a mishandled snap.
I was going to try to give credit to the young man that recovered the fumble, but we got screened by a graphic, so we didn't see who came out with the football. But it was a beautiful Tiger paw.
It was.
All right, so
it's Matt's favorite song on the PA.
Yeah, man. For a while, I guess you still do hear that every sporting event you go to. Kind of gets the crowd crunk. Do they still say that?
When they played at the Falcons games, I reworked the lyrics. Rise up for what?
Well, hopefully the Falcons can rise up against one of their former players this weekend.
I know,
I'm sure
right?
You saw that.
Yeah.
There's the snap. Flag comes in. Let's see what this is all about.
It'd be a very Falcon thing to lose to Marcus Mariota.
It really would be. The only thing that could be worse, I guess, is if Desmond Ridder figured out a way to get him. But I like Marcus Mariota. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not.
Enjoyed him as a college player.
Yeah.
But it would definitely be very Falconish.
It would. It would.
All right, so the Dragons come back to the line of scrimmage here, get ready to run the play. It's going to be 1st and 15 from the 19-yard line after the penalty. There's the snap. They are going to hand it off, run the football. Man, this kid has got some fast wheels. Streaking down the field is Blaze McCary. He is down at about the 44-yard line on the opposite side of the field. That was a massive run.
And same pitch play. Off to the right side. McCreary that time was able to find a cutback lane and use that speed. And if it wasn't for the effort of Zayden Simpson, he may have taken that one to the house. Simpson didn't give up on the play and was able to make the tackle from behind.
Got it to the 46-yard line. Massive play. 2 wide receivers to the far side, 1 on the near. As Moss Tant is under center, takes the snap, drives forward. And Tant's going to keep it and drive the pile about 8 yards, Ian.
Well, the Dragons went into the locker room and have obviously made a commitment to just pounding the rock. That's what they want to do. And right now they're having a lot of success, getting a ton of explosive plays. And that's the 3rd time that they've just run right behind the center. Tant snaps it and just basically rides him like a pony for 8 yards, man.
2nd and 2. 2 wide receivers to the far side, 1 on the near. Tant is under center. He's going to quick pitch it, gets it out to his man, and he is going to be brought down at about 35. That should be enough for a first down there.
That was well defended. They just didn't need many yards to pick up the first down, so that'll move the chains.
So 3-yard pickup there for Chapman, the freshman. And the Dragons will roll back to the line of scrimmage here with 1st and 10 from the Tiger 35, leading at 27-7 on the scoreboard. 2 wide receivers on the far side, 1 on the near. Tant is going to be under center. Man motions. They're going to give it to the motion man, Maddox Garcia, trying to find a running lane, and he is going to be brought down inside the 30 after shaking off a couple of tackles.
And that time it looked like they had him in the backfield. Garcia is just a patient runner, you know. Doesn't look like he's going that fast either, but he just kind of is able to start and stop, and could have been a hold right there too. I'm kind of surprised the flag didn't come out. But you know, having the liberty of watching the replay makes it easy for me to see these things.
Yes, it does. Ball's at the 27-yard line. Dragons will line up with 2nd down and 3. There's the snap. Going to be a quick pitch. They're going to go back to Chapman, and he'll be brought down right about where the play started.
Yeah, and that time they pitched to the left. Every other time they've run it this half, it's been to that right side. They go to the left, and it gets shut down.
High school football coverage for you tonight on WLAQ and also the live stream. 6:42 remains in the 3rd quarter. Dragons with the lead at home, up by 20. So a 3-score lead for the Dragons. And they'll go back to the drawing board here for 3rd down and 3 as clock is ticking here in this 3rd quarter. Going to line up with everybody in tight at the line of scrimmage. This formation looks a lot like the Tigers lineup. There's the snap. Quarterback goes forward, and we have a flag.
Wow. Let's see. It's on Darlington, looks like. See what the signal is. Yep. That will go against the Tigers, and that will be a 1st down and extend this drive for the Dragons.
All right, so 6:20 left to go in the 3rd quarter. The Dragons marching the ball down the field. They've got it at the 23-yard line. As the Dragons get ready to go back to the line of scrimmage here on a pretty warm night here for late September.
Yeah, we were blessed with some cooler weather early this year, and it was a sustained period, too. I got spoiled.
There's the snap. Quarterback's going to run the football, and he is going to streak right into the end zone. A 23-yard pickup to pay dirt. Touchdown, Pepperell Dragons.
And the cannon's coming, Matt.
Thank you. I appreciate you. They're loading it up as we speak, and I'm watching so I know when the fire is in the hole, and it is. And here we go, folks. Brace yourselves. I know I'm bracing myself. Oh, there it is.
There it went.
Man.
And I guess Spencer Baker did miss that last extra point, so he has a chance to pop this one through the uprights, and
it is through. I thought they had a bad fuse on that last one. I was like, we're going to dodge it this time, but not so much.
I coached that young man in soccer for a number of years, Spencer Baker. He's a lefty, a very talented athlete, and he's 4 or 5 on extra points this evening.
I grew up in the same neighborhood as his dad up in Hickory Mountain down here in Lindale, Georgia.
And Ben was on that 90 squad, was he?
I believe so, yeah. So we get ready for the Pepperell Dragons to kick it back to your Tigers. Right now down 34-7, and we had a really close first half. That late score to end the 2nd quarter of the football game put the Pepperell Dragons in the driver's seat up 21-7, and it's been all Dragons here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, they've come out and really committed to the ground attack. I do not think they've thrown a pass here in this 3rd quarter. It's been all quarterback run and pitch plays.
So Spencer trots the ball, kicks it away. That's going to be a line drive, will be fielded and brought out by Jace Donaldson. Gets tripped up by the turf monster, it looked like, at about the 26-yard line before getting hit.
And Jace fighting through a foot injury to be out there and try to give this team a spark. And he will stay on the field, but you can see him walking with a limp.
Yeah, and that's been one of the storylines for the season, Ian. I mean, the injury bug hit early, and it continues to be a problem for the Darlington Tigers. They've had a lot of injuries this year. Going to be a wide receiver to the far side for the Tigers. That's going to be Trey Moore. And quarterback under center, ready to take the snap. It's going to be Nate Konchesky, by the way. They're going to hand it off, go with the B-back dive there from Miles Twyman. Picks up a good chunk of yards on first down.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot more push here on the dive in the second half.
So, again, we got a change at quarterback here for the Tigers for this drive. Nate Konchesky is taking the snaps now for your Tigers.
And Konchesky he got a start earlier this season against Ridgeland when Levi Duggan went down with a hand injury, and he played lights out in that ball game. Hurt his ankle and had to leave the game late, but he really ran the offense well in that one opportunity.
He was the Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game that night. There's the snap. Quarterback's going to throw just a little out of reach there for Trey Moore, incomplete.
And that was the play against Ridgeland that he kept having success on. It's just finding his receivers out there on the flat. That time the ball was a little bit low and out of reach for Moore. But you got a quarterback coming in cold, hadn't had any reps throwing any past live balls. He's been warming up on the sidelines. But certainly you would think at this point it's 4-down territory the rest of the way, down 34-7.
4:55 left to go in the third quarter. This is 3rd down and 4. There's the snap, going to hand it off. Nice job there by Miles Twyman to keep the legs turning. Should be a first down or close.
Yeah, he got it by a good yard and a half, 2 yards.
That was a good hard run there by Miles.
It was. Miles Twyman, he never stops driving those legs. And, I don't think he's even been back to 100% after that hip injury. We've seen him line up at B-back, but he's a heck of a defensive back, and has not been playing defense, which tells me he is still dealing with a little bit of an injury there.
1st and 10 Tigers. There's the snap. Konchesky's going to run the football, stays up, and gets about 3 or 4 yards down to the 40.
Hard hit there. Konchesky picked up about 4 yards.
So that's going to bring up 2nd down and 7 here for the Tigers with the ball at the 40-yard line on their side of the field. They've already picked up 1 first down here on this drive and advanced the ball 14 yards. And they're going to need some quick scores if they're going to climb back into this game, because we're getting late here in the third quarter. Going to have a couple of wide receivers on the far side. Konchesky, quarterback is under center, takes the snap. He's rolling out to the left side, puts it in the air, and that, I believe, bounced up to the receiver. Did he catch
he
that?
caught it. He caught it, but his knee was down when he caught it, so it was immediately a dead ball, but a complete pass for sure.
So a pass is complete to Trey Moore. That gets the ball down to about the 46-yard line. They got to get it 1 yard to get the first down. And the Tigers are back over the ball. Going to line up with everybody in tight except for Moore at wide receiver on the far side, working from left to right. There's the snap. Going to turn, hands it off to Miles Twyman. Gets the yard he needed and then a few more.
Yeah. Moving the chains here. Playing efficient option football here on this drive with Nate Konchesky running the offense.
Going to be 2 wide receivers to the near side when the Tigers snap the ball in a couple of moments. One of them is Ethan Height. And then you're going to have Jace Donaldson lined up in the slot here. 1 wide receiver off to the far side. Here's the snap. And they're going to run up the middle.
Letting Miles eat on this drive. Feed the big man the ball, but it's kind of slow to get up here.
And Jace is going to kind of hobble off the field there. He is fighting.
I think he's almost out there just to make him respect his ability at this point, because there's no way he's able to go out and make the cuts he usually does. He's favoring that foot. I think it's his left that's giving him problems.
Brings up 2nd down and 6 here for the Tigers. Going to line up in base formation, everybody in tight. There's the snap. Konchesky's going to pitch, gets it to Brooke Temple, and he is going to be brought down. I thought he was going to break free there for a minute.
I did too. It's Blaze making the play, though, blazing in there to make the tackle because Temple is a quick guy. He is a track star. But McCreary came flying in there and hit him up high. A clean tackle, but didn't give Temple the opportunity to make his cut and get upfield.
And so it's 3rd and 5 here for the Tigers with 1:42 and the clock ticking here in the third quarter, down 34-7 to the Dragons playing on their home field tonight. Base formation, everybody in tight. There's the snap. Quarterback looking to throw, puts it in the air. Deep ball to Powers, and that's going to be incomplete. And I think Bo was kind of hoping for a flag there.
That was a beautiful throw there from Konchesky. I mean, that was a nice little back shoulder teardrop. And I don't know about the interference. It looked pretty clean to me. Pretty good defense. Power. I mean, that would have been a circus catch had Powers made it. But a beautifully thrown ball.
So 4-down territory. It is 4th down and 5 here for the Tigers from the 46-yard line on the Dragon side of the field. Dropping back is Konchesky, puts it up the middle of the field, and that's going to be incomplete.
And the Darlington fans don't like the post-play chatter that's going on right now. I don't think there was a dirty hit there or anything like that. Tried to hit Powers on the crossing route, and it was a good. Tucker Glenn broke the pass up, but then there was just a little, well, like I say, after the play, some trash talk was occurring, and look, we know that these two teams don't really like each other too much, man. I mean, it's a classic matchup, private and public school, and they're, like you said, 4 miles separate them, and they're going to be fired up, and there's going to be a little extra in these games. They're always that way.
So after the turnover on downs, the Pepperell Dragons are going to get the ball with good field position at the 46-yard line with a 34-7 lead and 1:18 left in the third quarter of the football game. They're going to line up under center in a formation that looks a little bit like what the Tigers run. They're going to fake the handoff, give it off here to Sam Ross, and he's going to gash the Tigers for about 11 yards.
And that was a little trap play. And there's chatter after every play at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's getting chippy out there, and might be time for the officials to kind of step in and remind these boys.
We got to be nice and civil, right?
Yeah.
In this rivalry.
Don't want to see anything real nasty happen out there, you know.
Well, that was about a 9-yard gain. There's the snap on 2nd and 1. They'll hand it off, and that's going to be a first down here for the Dragons. They went back to Ross for that play to get the extra yard or two he needed for the first down.
We're late in the third quarter, and the Dragons lead this one 34-7. And once again, they are driving. And once again, it's all coming through the rushing attack.
So everybody in tight for the formation. There's the snap. Going to pitch it to the running back. They get it to Chapman, and
they're going to get a hold this time. Yeah. And Darlington was due that call. There have been a few that could have drawn a flag. That time the officials saw it. You heard the crowd react if you're listening to the broadcast here. Matt's got our trusty crowd mic.
Yeah, you got to be careful of that sometimes.
You do. Sometimes you can catch some colorful language from the fans, but
not the Darlington fans, though.
I mean, that was an absolute hog tie right there, though. The flag had to come out, and it did, and it'll back the Dragons up 10 yards.
But it's an intense sport.
It is. It's a violent, intense sport with passionate fans who want to win. I mean, you heard Coach Groves say it the other day. It's like, we treat every opponent we play with respect, but when you're 4 miles apart, whoever wins this thing, the loser's got to hear it for a year.
That's exactly right.
So you want it a little bit more. That's just natural.
So now the Dragons are backed up to the 49-yard line on their side of the field. Here's the snap. Quarterback's going to run it forward and gets that push up front. Gets about, 7 or 8 yards. So a lot of the penalty yards back there.
Yeah. Yeah. And just that. It's the tush push, man. I mean, just snap it and forge ahead behind the big nasties.
And it looks like that's the last play of the third quarter of the football game. So the Dragons are going to lead this going into the final frame by a score of 34-7 with the football and a second and long coming up when we come back in 1 minute.
Shop for your next car, truck, or SUV at Riverside Auto Group. Check out riversideautogroup.com today to browse their selection or visit with them in person at Riverside Chevrolet GMC in Rome, Riverside Toyota in Rome, and the all-new Riverside GMC Cadillac in Cartersville. Locally owned and operated by the Welburn family since 1974. That's Riverside Auto Group. Visit riversideautogroup.com.
Rome Orthopedic Center, we salute students, freshmen and seniors, athletes and artists, first stringers and choral singers, band majors and game changers. We hope you never need orthopedic care, but if you do, choose the only practice in the Rome area solely dedicated to the orthopedic needs of the students and families in our community. Rome Orthopedic Center. To make an appointment, call 706.
All right, we get ready for the final quarter of football here from Lindale, Georgia. And I just got a notification on my phone that the Pirates and Braves game got delayed. So they were pretty far along in that game. I thought it was close to being over. But
didn't know there was any bad weather coming through Georgia tonight.
I'll have to double check on that. A quick pitch. That's going to go to McCrary. He has got some super fast wheels and is able to find a little bit of room to run, not quite enough to get the first down, but that sets him up in pretty decent position here on third down. It should. They got some speed on this Dragons team this year, and a lot of it's coming from freshmen.
Yeah, two young backs that are going to be a lot of trouble for the next 4 years. You're going to lose Sam Ross. What year is Matt Garcia?
He's a senior.
He's a senior as well. So there's some good players that'll move on after this season, but the future looks bright for this Dragons team. Not sure what's going on here. We got an injury?
We must. I'm not sure 100%, but we do have a stoppage of play, and both teams heading over there to their respective sidelines. So it looks like we're going to have a stoppage of play. We'll keep it here right now because I don't know how long it's going to take for us to resume play. I don't want to be in the middle of a break and they resume. But
I could go over some scores if you'd like to hear it.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so Rockmart at the Furnace playing the Sonoraville Phoenix. We said this could be one of those games where that 60-plus region.
63 region games. Consecutive
63
region wins.
Consecutive region wins for Rockmart. It looks like it's going to be 64. They're up 22-7 at the half. Calhoun up 23-0 at the half over Daresville.
I do want to point out an interesting fact since of where we are right now, but the last time that Rockmart lost a region game, it was to the Pepperell Dragons back in 2016 in October.
Different world back then in 2016. Seems like a lifetime ago.
I know.
Pretty impressive. Dade's still up 31-0 over our Murchie. Coosa leading Christian Heritage 28-14. Fannin County up 28-7 over Gordon Central at the half. Gordon Lee has exploded to a 41-0 lead over Chattooga. And in the game that matters most between me and Matt this week, the Tryon Bulldogs lead Manchester 24-18 in the third quarter. So that game is still very much in question, but I picked the Tryon Bulldogs. He picked the Blue Devils. And I'm down 5 games, ladies and gentlemen. I need it. I need Tryon to win this one for me so I can have a fighting chance.
Well, I'm rooting hard for Manchester because I'm all gas, no brakes.
I know you
I'd
are.
like to have a 6-game lead when the night's over.
I think I lost by 40 games to you and Grayson last year.
As a matter of fact, I'll mention this.
Bad.
I forgot to mention this to you earlier. I had a visitor at the station today. Former intern at WLAQ and V3, Grayson Atkins, stopped by today.
Nice.
Yep. He is now going to Samford University over there in Birmingham and is in town for the weekend, so he dropped by to say hello. It's nice to see him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He may be watching or listening to this.
Hope so.
All right. Here's the snap. Tant's going to run the football, stays up, and they've got the first down and are moving the chains.
And it was Brooke Temple that was injured on that play. And they're taking a look at him over here on the sideline. But again, Tant snaps it. And that time Darlington plugged the hole. You know, they stopped the center's momentum, and Tant's still able to bounce it and get upfield and pick up the first down. So they overcome the holding penalty to keep this drive going. And I don't feel like the Dragons are going to lay off the gas, even though this game at this point is safely in hand. They're hungry for more points.
There's a quick pitch. They're going to get the ball to McCrary, who is streaking down the sidelines, and it looks like they're going to do just that. More points for the Pepperell Dragons on a 29-yard play and the fast wheels from Blaze McCrary.
And
wow.
Yeah, and again, it's that pitch play. So
there it is.
I was ready. I don't know why I'm just ready for it, but I am, Matt. But I'm glad that you're starting to prepare yourself.
They used to have it in a different spot. It's a little bit more in our line of sight this year.
Yeah,
so.
I do feel like it was further back behind the goalpost.
I think so. I'm glad they moved it. We get ready for the extra point. It's going to be somebody different this time. I think is that Chris Alphen?
I can't tell.
Here is the kick. No, that's 71. That's going to be Puak Wheeler. So Puak Wheeler with the extra point is good, and the score is going to move to 41-7 in favor of the Dragons.
And 11 minutes and 6 seconds left in this fourth quarter, and really at this point you just want to try to finish the game strong, see if maybe you can get some points and keep the Dragons off the scoreboard the rest of the way.
Well, the Tigers are going to have their second and final bye week of the regular season coming up next week. After that, they're going to hit the road for their last long trip, road trip of the season, heading to Heard County to face a really tough Braves team in Franklin, Georgia. Heard entered the evening 4-0. They're playing at Haralson County tonight. So if you get a chance, man, you want to look up that score. I'd love to know what's going on between Heard County and Haralson County.
I'm looking it up now, and buddy, it is 3-0 Haralson County.
Wow.
Yeah, the 4-1 Braves against the 4-0 Braves versus the 4-1 Rebels, and right now it's a slobber knocker defensive slugfest going on in that ball game. It's tough out there on those county roads, man.
Yes, it is. Here comes the kick. That'll be end over end, and that'll go out of bounds. And that was from Puak Wheeler. So the Tigers will get the ball at the 35-yard line to open up their next drive with 11:06 remaining in the game. Do want you to stay tuned after tonight's action for the Honeymoon Bakery Icing on the Cake player of the game. And then shortly after that, we're going to have the Rome Orthopedic Center High School football scoreboard show, which should be a lot of fun with Lynn and Austin Butler. So tune in for that and call in for that.
I'm sure that Clay will call in tonight.
I'm sure he will. And of course, we're referring to Clay, the voice of the Pepperell Dragons on the radio, calls in each and every week and gives a report on the Dragons.
He said me and Matt were prim and proper. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I want a little poll out there in WLAQ land. And,
we don't want any polls. We don't want any polls.
Are we prim and proper?
We're doing our best here. I can say that. That's a last drive kick is going to be brought out by the Tigers. Trey Moore's got it. He stays up, shakes off a couple of guys. He's across the 40, still going. Gets it about to the 43. That was a great return there by Trey.
It really was fun to kind of watch him work his way from that far side of the field across to us. Great vision and a really nice return from Moore. But there's a flag. And we'll see what the call is. Personal foul on Pepperell. And things have gotten really chippy out there at this point, so I don't know if that was a late hit or if that's some chatter. But sometimes the officials have to throw these flags just to make sure that they can maintain order on the field. Look, it's an emotional game, you know.
All right, now the official starts his march. So this will help the Tigers out here bringing it all the way down to the 38.
I'll give the Tigers a chance to see if they can put some points on their board. They have not scored since they opened the game. That 7-0 lead on a 43-yard Bo Powers touchdown run.
Konchesky in for his second drive as quarterback in this game. We got a flag before they run a play.
That must be some kind of substitution issue or a sideline warning. No? Well, interesting.
This is against the Dragons.
Yeah. 5 yards, so they must have jumped in the neutral zone there.
So now the ball's at the 33-yard line. Going to be a wide receiver on the far side, one on the near here for the Tigers. Under center is Nate Konchesky. He takes the snap, dropping back. He's got company in the backfield. He's going to get rid of the ball, and that'll be incomplete. Got hit after the throw.
That absolutely should be a flag. That should be a flag. Ball was gone. Ball was out of his hands and 10 yards downfield. No need to throw him to the ground like that. I'm a little surprised.
And so that's going to bring up 2nd down and 5 here for the Tigers after the incomplete pass. Got a line out with Morris, a receiver on the near side. Otherwise, everybody's in tight in their base formation. Matias Selle is back there at the B-back position. They're going to fake the handoff to him. Konchesky's going to run it. He's got some green grass, folks. He's inside the 15. And now the 5 touchdowns. Nate Konchesky, 33 yards to pay dirt. And the Tigers have struck here with 10:40 left to go in the final quarter.
Great run. Great run there. And again, a flag could have been thrown. I saw a Dragon kind of diving at Konchesky's ankles in the back of the end zone. He's already in there for the touchdown. I just don't want to see anybody get injured. But a great run there. Great read by Konchesky. Great cut back at the end to bounce it to the outside. And then he's in the back of the end zone and gets shoved. That's unnecessary.
All right, we get ready for Ade Desalu to try to tack on the extra point. And there's the snap. Hold looks good. Kick on the way, right down Broadway, and it's 41-14. Tigers trail the Dragons here on the road. But good to see the Tigers get a score there here late in the ball game. Have some positive things happen that you want to try to build on as you continue the season. It's a long season.
Yeah, you got to keep fighting. It has not gone their way tonight, but Konchesky's come in and looked pretty crisp at quarterback and moving the ball. They were just in too deep of a hole to come back at this point, but good to see the Tigers. There's no quitting this team. We know that.
Absolutely. As the temperature continues to drop here down at Lindale. We're going to get a little House of Pain jump around here on the playlist on the PA. It's about 74 degrees now at this point in time. They just threw up the weather.
Nice.
As I said that, right on cue. Well done. Well done. I see what you did there.
Crackpot team they've got there on the
I didn't even know they had
Georgia
that.
Media production trailer there.
I'm just going to start saying random stuff and see if it pops up on the screen. It's like magic.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I know.
Guys are quick on their feet.
All right, so Desalu ready to kick it away here. Back to the Dragons. Back deep here is going to be a man with some fast wheels, Blaze McCary.
Man, that was close. Ade had a paw on it, but couldn't quite reel it in. Matt Garcia. Yeah.
So Tigers cannot recover the onside kick attempt, trying to steal the possession here late. See what they can do in the final 10 minutes and 40 seconds to try to climb and claw their way back into it. Love the thought. And that's one of the things, about this team. They just never quit.
No, they don't.
Going to keep coming at you, try to make something happen.
And it looks like all the starters are staying in the game for Pepperell. Interesting.
They're going to start at the 50-yard line, so right at midfield. Tant's going to pitch it. Gets it over to a man with some fast wheels. That's Chapman. Flag comes in. He's going to scoot into the end zone, but we'll see what the flag is about. This one may come back.
It's coming back. Yeah. I think so.
It was a 50-yard play, but again, flag on the field. This one's coming back. Trey Chapman was the ball carrier there, but might have had a little bit of assistance there from his teammates. Creating that hole.
That indeed will be a hold. And we'll back the Dragons up.
So 10:29 remains in this football game. Right now, the Pepperell Dragons lead at 41-14. Played on their home field tonight. And right now, J.B. Ragland getting the play call from the sidelines. He'll bring it back to his teammates here in a couple of moments. As we get ready.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on top of that. And the refs have to get a hold of this one. I mean, I don't want to see anyone get hurt, and it's getting unnecessarily chippy. Game's in hand. Let's conduct ourselves with class here.
All right, so the Tigers will get ready to line up on defense. It's going to be 1st and a mile here for the Pepperell Dragons. As the ball is going to be at the 35-yard line. So they got 25 yards to go. They're going to line up under center here for this play with 2 wing backs. Running back in the backfield. They're going to pitch it to him, and this kid has got some unbelievably fast wheels. He stays up. I think I saw another flag come in there.
That was a football.
Okay, I got you.
They are bright yellow, and they've been flying around, growing up, how the kids would go and play the pickup games with them. That's what's going down on the sideline over there.
So after that pickup there from Blaze McCrary, gets him down to the 45. That's going to bring up 2nd down and 15 here for the Pepperell Dragons with 9:42 left to go in the ball game. And they will go back to the line of scrimmage in the same formation they've been in much of this half. Man motions to the left side. They're going to pitch it. They're going to go right back to the young man they just got it to, Blaze, and this time he's going to scoot through and get a pretty big play there. It looks like a man down here, Ian, for the Tigers in some pain on the far sidelines.
He's pulled himself up off the field. That was either Bryson Jones or no. I can't see the number because it's tucked in. Is that Evan Parton? Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to trot off the field. I think that's Evan. No, Evan's out there. And you can't read that number either.
No, you can forget that.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to have to turn around for us to see that.
65, I think. And again, I don't have that number on my roster.
There's the snap. Going to be a quick pitch. This time they're going to go to Chapman, who's got the football streaking down the sidelines. Let's see if they can get him out of bounds. They do. It's going to be about 3 yards shy of the goal line. I was trying to pick up the number on the young man that just saved that touchdown there, but I couldn't catch it.
I'll let you know here shortly. Stuart Grigsby and J.B. Ragland. That was J.B. Ragland and Jaden Mazza, yeah.
Mazza.
Yeah. And we've got a penalty, so that's coming back.
So a holding call goes against Pepperell there.
And with the animosity in the air right now, I'd just like for this clock to expire before things get ugly. Mm-hmm. It just feels like there's some tension brewing.
So the Dragons back to the line of scrimmage now after the penalty. Got the ball at the 41-yard line. Man motions from right to left. There's the snap. Quarterback is just going to go forward with the football in the line of scrimmage. Get a chunk of yards down to about the 32.
Again, I mean, that's about the 10th time they've run that play. Snap it and follow your blockers. Nothing complicated about it, and it's been very successful tonight.
So that's going to bring up 2nd down and 3 here for the Dragons. They've got the ball at the 33-yard line in Tiger territory. Tant's going to line up under center here for this play. Man motions to the left side. They're going to pitch it, get it to Maddox Garcia, and he's going to be stopped. I think a little bit shy of the first down. We'll see.
I do not think Pepperell has thrown a pass in the second half. They have simplified things and been very successful on offense. A credit to their offensive line for how they've played, in these young running backs that just have some blazing speed, great vision. Got to tip your cap.
Indeed. 3rd down and 1 here for the Dragons. Tant under center, ready to take the snap. Man motions to the right. Tant's going to run the football, gets the first down, stays up, and he's going to be down at about the 25.
And that's a cool little variation on that play. That time, instead of just snapping and going right behind his center, he does a little sidestep, gets behind the left guard. So that was designed to go that way. And again, that play, it'd be interesting to see the stat sheet later, see how many yards on the ground Moss Tant's racked up.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 Dragons at the Tigers' 26-yard line as they get ready to roll back up to the line of scrimmage with 6:42 and the clock ticking here in the 4th quarter. Dragons lead at 41-14. Dragons are 2-3 coming into the game, 1-0 in region play. Looking to go 2-0 in region. And they've had a brutal schedule so far. There's the snap. Tant going to pitch it, gets it to Garcia. He scoots free on the outside, gets down to about the 20-yard line. And if you're the Dragons, you're happy to eat as much of this clock with this drive as you possibly can.
Yeah, and look, make one thing clear. They're just running their offense here. They're not trying to throw the ball and run trick plays here. The Dragons are just executing their offense, and again, they'd be content to run it out, but if you're running the football and you can push it into the end zone and score more points, I don't think there's anything classless about that at all.
So the Dragons will come back to the line of scrimmage. They'll have everybody in tight in this formation with the 2 wingbacks. And there is going to be a handoff. Go to a different man this particular time. He's going to be brought down. That's probably going to be a horse collar.
They did not throw the flag.
Yeah. Chance Hopper was the ball carrier on that play.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can catch it on the replay. If you pull him down from the shoulder pads, as long as you don't get inside that jersey, you're all right. Stuart Grigsby's on the tackle. Yeah, that could have gone the other way. That's a dangerous tackle. I'm surprised they didn't throw the flag. Not that was malicious at all. It's just dangerous, and that's why it's an illegal play.
It's going to be 1st and 10 Dragons in the red zone now at the 15-yard line as they will look off to the sidelines for the play call. Coming back in with it, it's going to be Moss Tant, their quarterback, who gets ready to roll his team to the line of scrimmage. So Tant under center, ready to take the snap. He's going to push the ball forward, and he gets it down to about the 8-yard line. Maybe, I don't know, it might be the 7.
And at this point, it looks like the Dragons will punch it in for another score. There's just too much time on the clock for them to just sit on it. But did we have a penalty?
No. So the ball's at the 9-yard line after the play from the quarterback. Going to be a lot of great college football games on television tomorrow. Of course, highlighted for a lot of people around here by Alabama Crimson Tide at Sanford Stadium taking on the Dogs.
Yeah, some sneaky good ones, too. Ohio State going out to Washington. Outside of Georgia, Washington has the longest home game winning streak, so Buckeyes better beware.
There's a quick pitch, and that is going to be... Did the flag come in?
No. It was... Somehow the Darlington defense made a great play there, forced about a 5-yard loss.
Chapman was the carrier.
Yeah, Ragland was held and still, he was hogtied and still was able to make the play. Great play.
So 3:46 left to go in the ball game. Dragons have the ball, 3rd down and 6 from the 11-yard line after the 2-yard loss on that play. Moss Tant ready to take the snap. Man starts to motion to the left side, and we got a timeout, it looks like.
Yeah, Darlington's going to take the timeout.
All right, let's take it with them. 3:31 left to go in this one. Dragons up 41-14 over the Tigers. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
At Rome Orthopedic Center, we salute students, freshmen and seniors, athletes and artists, first stringers and choral singers, band majors and game changers. We hope you never need orthopedic care, but if you do, choose the only practice in the Rome area solely dedicated to the orthopedic needs of the students and families in our community. Rome Orthopedic Center. To make an appointment, call 706-292-0040.
We welcome you back live to live coverage of Darlington Tigers football on the live stream and on the radio. We've got 3:31 left to go in this football game. Dragons currently lead at 41-14, and the Dragons go back to the line of scrimmage here with 3rd down and 6 from the 11-yard line. And quarterback is under center as he gets ready to take the snap. Man motions off to the left side. Tant's going to run the football, scoots out to the left side, and he is in the end zone. An 11-yard touchdown run there for Moss Tant. And the Dragons strike again here late in this 4th quarter.
Absolutely. The quarterback run continues to be successful for the Dragons as Moss Tant that time around bounced it out to the left and was able to break a few tackles and scurry into the end zone. And this Dragons rushing attack has just been on fire in the second half. They've really just stuck to a handful of plays and had a lot of success racking up yards and points. And this one's safely in hand at this point. Be shocked if the starters stay on the field if they come back out.
And the extra point looks to be through there from Wheeler. And the score is going to move to 48-14 in favor of the home team tonight, the Pepperell Dragons. We've got 3:21 left to go in the football game.
Now the Darlington Tigers, who scored on their last possession, Nate Konchesky had a nice little scamper into the end zone. So they'll get out there and see if maybe they can put up a few more points, try to finish with some positives in a game that got away from them, unfortunately.
Well, we're glad you're with us tonight on the broadcast, whether you're watching on the live stream or happen to be listening the old school way on the radio, because I'm old school, Ian. What can I say?
Indeed you are. But you're a nice blend of old school and new school. You've embraced the new school.
That's exactly right. But so the Tigers will send a man back deep. That's going to be Jace Donaldson. And you really got to tip your cap to that young man because he hurt his ankle or something earlier in the game. He's been hobbling around, but he wants to be out there on the field to help his team no matter what the situation is. He's out there right now. Here comes the kick. That's going to be end over end. Chasing it down is going to be Donaldson. He'll field it, bring it out across the 20, shakes a couple of guys off, streaking down the sidelines. Gets across to about the 35-yard line. Moving pretty good there on that play.
Yeah. And you said this embodies the kind of player and person that Jace Donaldson is. I mean, he got hurt early in the game. You know, this game is in hand for the Dragons, but yet he's fighting through the injury, out there trying to contribute and be a good teammate.
Absolutely. So he gets the ball to the 34-yard line. That's where the Tigers are going to set up shop here with 3:13 left to go in the football game. I'm going to get a couple of guys off the field here before they run the play. Quarterback is going to be under center. That is, of course, Nate Konchesky. And here's the snap. He's going to take the ball, gives it off to Matias Selle, breaks free, gets across the 45-yard line down at about the 47. So a positive play here.
Yeah, nice spin move there by Matias as he hit the hole. The young freshman who filled in for Miles Twyman when he was injured has a bright future. He's going to be a great player. That's just a ninth grader out there making plays.
So the ball's at the 48-yard line after a nice pickup and a first down by Matias Selle there on the first down play. So the Tigers moved the chains after one play. They're going to send Trey Moore wide to the near side. Konchesky running off towards the sidelines, getting some final instructions here as he runs back. Looked a little bit confused as he went back to the field, but he'll take the snap. And he's got the ball dropping back, looking to throw, puts the ball in the air, connects with Bo Powers, and he's going to be brought down after a short pickup of about 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, good catch there by Powers. Coverage was solid. He didn't really get a chance to get going as the defender was right there to make the tackle, but a positive gain on first down, staying ahead of the chains.
So the Tigers get ready to go back to the line of scrimmage with 2:05 left to go in the ball game. Going to send a wide receiver to the far side. That's Ethan Hike. Going to have one on the near. That's Trey Moore. Otherwise, out of their base formation. And Konchesky takes the snap. He rolls out looking to throw. Has some company in the backfield. Puts the ball in the air, and that's just out of reach from Bo Powers, who was open.
Really, backpedaling like that, that was a really nice throw from Konchesky. It was hot. But it hit Powers in the hands a little high. Couldn't reel it in. But they'll live to fight another down.
And so that's going to bring up third down here for the Darlington Tigers and 7 with the ball at the 49-yard line just in Pepperell Dragon territory. Going to send that wide receiver off to the far side. That's Height again. On the near is Moore. Otherwise, base formation, Matias Selle in at the B-back position here for the Tigers.
I did not know the tomahawk chop was part of Pepperell's repertoire here.
Company in the backfield here for Konchesky. I didn't either, and he's going to throw that one to the ground, and a flag comes in.
The late hit. Let's see if that's the call.
Roughing the passer.
Yep.
So the penalties continue to pile up in this rivalry game. And right now we've got 1:34 left to go in the game. Dragons lead at 48-14. And the Tigers will try to take advantage of the penalty here.
Yeah, that'll extend the drive. A minute and 34 left.
And Konchesky ready to bring his team back to the line of scrimmage here. Now at the 34-yard line in Dragon territory. Going to line up with everybody in tight at the line of scrimmage this time. And Konchesky under center. He takes the snap. He is going to pitch it. Gets it to Brooke Temple, trying to get that young man in space. And the door is going to be closed pretty quickly. He takes a heavy hit.
And Temple already had one spell where he was down on the field, but he's scrapping and getting out of there and trying to make a play.
And so they're able to get the ball down to the 31-yard line. So a short pickup there for the Tigers of 3 yards, and that brings up second down and 7 with the ball at the 31, and we're down to the final minute of this football game.
Did you hear that? Matt Hurd beat Harrelson 20-3.
Okay.
And Bremen beat Temple 30-0.
Wow. Here's Konchesky. He's got company in the backfield. He's going to put it in the air, and that's going to be incomplete with 44.2 seconds left to go on the clock, bringing up third down. Well, this is no doubt every week is a tough game for every team in this region. It is unbelievable from top to bottom. And, I mean, I can't get over how much improved that Haralson County team is over last year. I mean, they were pretty decent last year, went 1-9, which is kind of surprising because they were in a lot of games. But this year, they've really turned a corner.
No,
Came up short tonight, but
it's not the same team as last year. A lot of the same kids, but if you haven't seen Haralson County, be ready for a scrap. They are big, strong, and fast.
And so Konchesky rolls up under center, a wide receiver to the near side, one on the far. Nate drops back, puts it in the air, and it's going to slide right by Bo Powers, and he's kind of felt like he should have had that one.
A little bit behind him on that one, but anytime you can get your hands on it, you're going to feel bad if you don't. But that would have been a tough catch. His momentum's going one way, and he's having to reach back the other, so don't beat yourself up there, Bo.
But you could tell from his reaction.
Oh, yeah, he wanted
felt like
it.
He should have got it. But
if you're a competitor like Bo is, then you feel like you should catch all of them.
Absolutely. Fought through a lot of adversity to be on the field. Bo Powers has over the years and has done a great job here for this football team. He's a tough kid, no doubt about it. Konchesky under center, ready to take the snap. He drops back, looking to throw here on 4th down. Ball's in the air, caught by Trey Moore, and he is going to drive towards the end zone, fighting to get in the end zone, folks, and they're going to keep him out just shy of the goal line, but what a great effort.
Yeah, great effort. And
Man.
Konchesky floated that one out there, and the defensive back lost the ball. Moore adjusted, made a great catch, and then he fought as hard as he could to get in the end zone, tried to drag a few Dragons in. They eventually were able to get him down, and we'll see if Darling tries to run quick to get a touchdown here late, end on a high note on what's been a tough night.
They take a timeout? Yep.
Yeah, I can't blame them.
All right.
Yeah.
Tigers trying to end, as you pointed out, with something positive here at the end of the game as they get ready to head into a bye week next week and then pick up the season schedule with a long road trip down to Heard County against the Braves the following week. So, the grind continues, even though you get a little bit of a breather next week, which will be a good thing. See if you can get some bumps and bruises healed up and things of that nature. But
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this region plays out. We've seen the Dragons play. They got a big win against Temple last week. And I guess the rest of their season will be Model, Harrelson, Bremen, and then Heard County. Those are going to be some fun games right there. And the Dragons are in the mix here. It's really, at this point, I'd say a 3-team race for this region championship. Pepperell, Heard, and Bremen.
Well, Ian, let's see if the Tigers can punch it in here with 18.6 seconds left to go. It's 1st and goal from the 1. After the great catch and run there by Trey Moore, Konchesky ready to take the snap, and he dives forward. And, ladies and gentlemen, he is in the end zone, a 1-yard plunge for a touchdown for Nate Konchesky.
And there's your positives going forward. Nate Konchesky has come into the game and really provided a spark for the Darlington offense. Be interesting to see if he's your starter going forward. But that's what you have to do in this situation. It's a tough night for Darlington. There's no way around that, but they've got to regroup. They've got to find the positives. They get a bye week to prepare and get some rest and heal up, and then they'll have a tough slate going forward to close out the season.
Ade Desalu on for the extra point, and that one is through, and that's going to move the score to 48-21 in favor of the home team tonight, the Pepperell Dragons, who are going to go 2-0 in region play and move their season record to 3-3. But, folks, we're glad you're with us tonight. If you're listening on WLAQ or watching on the live stream on the radio end of things tonight, we're going to take a break after the game, have a brief post-game show for you. We'll give you the Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game, and we'll get ready to turn it over to the guys for the Rome Orthopedic Center High School Football Scoreboard Show with Lynn and Austin. We certainly invite you to call into the show at 706-232-7767 and keep those guys company. They'll be on the air until about 11:30 tonight, and at that point we'll switch it over to Infinity Sports Network for the evening.
Well, I opened my big fat mouth, and Manchester's tied it 24-24. And, hey, late in the 4th.
Oh, my goodness.
UVA. We've been keeping our eye on that one, and we'll see if the Hoos can close it out. This Gator's certainly rooting for them.
And certainly
I don't have much to root for when it comes to my team, so I've got to live on the losses of our rivals.
That's funny. Well, you got to keep it interesting somehow.
Right. Luckily, I just really like watching football, so even when my team stinks.
Onside attempt there by Desalu. He gets the ball. Did it go far enough? It did.
He got it. He got it. And he laid the boom. I guess that's a good thing about having a defensive lineman kicking the ball off is he followed the ball, and as soon as it went 10 yards, he lowered his shoulder, knocked back the Pepperell player, and was able to fall on the ball. That's one way to do it.
The officials have a meeting of the minds around the P at midfield.
Oh, they're going to give it to Pepperell. I'm not sure what the call is there. It went 10 yards before contact, so it must be something I'm not aware of. I'm going to try. I'm watching the replay. It was really, really close, and I was screened. I believe it was Sam Ross that was up to receive that. But I guess they're saying the contact came before the ball went 10 yards. I mean, that is really, really close.
All right, so the Dragons will bring their offense back out on the field here and get ready to take a knee and eat up the remaining 9.6 seconds of this ball game and enjoy a victory here on homecoming night. There's the knee, and that is your ball game. Your final score tonight, Pepperell Dragons are the victors at home on homecoming. 48-21 is your final score. We're going to take a break, about 3 minutes. We'll come back, give you the Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game, and wrap things up live from Lindale. There's one more cannon shot there for safe measure. We're back in 3.
Coosa Steel is a family-owned full-line steel service center located in Rome, Georgia. Since 1972, we've been working to make our customers more efficient by providing steel product supply and processing all in one place. We are proud to provide a large range of products, including hot-rolled and cold-finished steel, stainless steel, galvanized steel, aluminum, and alloys. Our capabilities enable us to assemble and process steel orders within days, shortening your lead time. Coosa Steel. Steel for your project.
At Rome Orthopedic Center, we salute students, freshmen and seniors, athletes and artists, first stringers and choral singers, band majors and game changers. We hope you never need orthopedic care, but if you do, choose the only practice in the Rome area solely dedicated to the orthopedic needs of the students and families in our community. Rome Orthopedic Center. To make an appointment, call 706-292-0040.
The deadline for 2026-2027 priority application and financial aid is February 15th. Schedule your private campus tour at www.darlingtonschool.org/visit or by emailing admission@darlingtonschool.org.
Mark your calendar for Alumni Weekend on October 24th through October 26th. For information on hotel blocks and reunions for classes ending in 0 and 5, visit our website at www.darlingtonschool.org/alumni weekend. We hope to see you there.
Welcome you back one last time live here from Lindale, Georgia tonight. The Dragons beat the Tigers tonight. 48-21 is your final score, and we're going to give you the Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game and then bid you adieu tonight and turn it over for the Rome Orthopedic Center High School football scoreboard show. But this was an award that happened early in the night, Ian.
Yeah, it did, and you know we had some debate in here. Nate Konchesky came in off the bench and was able to score 2 touchdowns late in the game once it was already in hand. A great performance by Nate. There were great performances by other Tigers, but early in the game, the player that impacted it and we really felt like Darlington had a chance to hang in this thing and win it was Ty Wood. Ty Wood with a circus catch on an interception early in the game that set Darlington up with an opportunity to take the lead early. And then on the very next possession, if you remember, they drove to the 6-yard line and fumbled. But it was Ty Wood that blew up a screen pass that helped force a 3-and-out and forced them to punt out of their own end zone. And Darlington then was able to score and take the lead. So we're going to give the Honeymoon Bakery icing on the cake player of the game to Ty Wood.
Congratulations, Ty. And we appreciate you tuning in tonight here on WLAQ and also the live stream for live coverage of Darlington football. Well, folks, that's going to be the end of our broadcast tonight. We're going to turn it over to the guys with the Rome Orthopedic Center High School Football Scoreboard Show. For Ian Griffin, I'm Matt Davis and the rest of the video crew. Hope you have a great weekend, everybody, and we will be back with you not next week, but the following week, and a road trip over to Heard County in Franklin, Georgia. So bye week next week, no Darlington football next week, but we'll get back after it the following Friday again at Heard County. That puts a wrap on the broadcast tonight. So long, everybody. Have a great weekend.